They were set a target by Celtic. That win should have been enough. And I know personally my football club has lost a 4-goal lead in the first leg before. So it can happen, and you really build yourself up. If you think you can do it, you get yourself there. And Lask have obviously had those meetings, done that work, done those trainings, and they've got themselves a victory in the tie and gone through. I think what this says about Scottish football is really important. And let's face some facts here. Celtic are below the New Saints of Wales, Shelbourne of Ireland. They're behind La Fiorita of San Marino in the rankings in Europe. The Austrian League is ranked below the Scottish League, and yet Lask have just beaten Celtic. And Lask have got no real European pedigree or history of success. So how has this happened? I think you've just got to go back to the end of last season. Scottish football is eating itself. Every season it happens, and last season it happened worse than ever. Hearts showed some smart thinking, some common sense to build, to do something a bit special, to do something unheard of. And what happened was Celtic panicked, took a huge step backwards by appointing...
Charlie in the break just trying to work out if he could mark Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank at corners. That's the least. I reckon he could back into you, Charlie, and then I think he could spin you. Just don't get too tight. Do not get too tight to Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Speaking of which, Simon, my phone charger got caught. Got caught in Simon Jordan's bag. I was like, you're trying to take me with you. Simon's like, I can assure you that is not the case. If you want a holiday with me, Simon, anytime you like.
Which talkSPORT presenter would you like to be connected to?
That for life. It's Simon's absolute idea of misery. The music's gone. It's 3 minutes past 1. Stop having fun, you two. Let's start with the sports headlines from Ben Fletcher.
talkSPORT Sports Update with NordVPN. 24/7 digital privacy and protection in one easy-to-use app.
Good afternoon. We'll start with some breaking news. UEFA is set to call off its threatened boycott of FIFA tournaments after receiving guarantees its plan to sell off stakes in the World Cup will not be revived. It's understood UEFA still plans to step up action against Gianni Infantino, though, over that scheme. More on this as and when we get it. Closer to home, Celtic out the Champions League for another year, and Hoops fans aren't happy.
We didn't fall off a cliff. We threw ourselves off it like lemmings. When we score, I think the equaliser comes from that mentality of we're through.
It was really embarrassing as a Celtic fan, and you have to listen to, your Jamie O'Hara's and stuff now. We're not good enough to be at that level.
Martin O'Neill's trying to take the heat off his players by taking responsibility for their defeat, but it's said he'll be seething behind closed doors. Former Celtic midfielder Paul Lambert told us there was a time when Celtic knew how to close games out.
I'm not sure they've got that minute, and they've got into this realm of we need to pass to make ourselves look good, and the games went away from the winning aspect, I think, with a lot of teams and a lot of clubs.
Celtic drop into the Europa League, a scant consolation, according to their manager. With 6 days to go till the summer window closes, Palace have loaned Axel Disasi from Chelsea. Omar Mamouche is undergoing his Spurs medical today. The dismantling of Pep's rebuild continues, with reports Nico Gonzalez is in Newcastle for a medical. The Toon take on West Brom in the Carabao Cup tonight, live over on talkSPORT 2. And Joe Root's dad has told us it was the coaching change that convinced him to return as England Test captain.
I think he's impressed with Stephen Fleming. Him coming back in as head coach, I think has motivated Joe to get involved. I think there's a lot of mutual respect there between the two of them.
England's second test with Pakistan starts tomorrow. They're 1-0 up in the 3-match series. There's loads more on the talkSPORT Following On podcast.
talkSPORT News.
Average household energy bills are going up again, and a murder investigation has been launched after 2 people died in a house fire near Middlesbrough. More from Amelia at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Sunny spells and scattered showers moving north. Some heavy rain with hail and thunder, which could lead to flooding.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for two to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Hello, you're listening to Rushden and Baker on talkSPORT. Hawksby and Jacobs, but imagine they're a Scottish team playing in Europe.
That's quite topical, Max. Well done.
Thanks. What a start from me. What's coming up between now and 4, Charlie?
We will talk about Celtic getting knocked out of the Champions League, which was a very sad evening watching the football, I thought, as it was happening. My daughter never watches football with me. She was watching football with me last night going, well, why are they just letting the goals in?
Very good question.
Very good, but it needs to be asked.
She could host a phone-in.
Anyway, Barca Jim's going to join us. He's a big Celtic fan and he is sad. And former Scottish FA Chief Exec Gordon Smith will also join us too.
Yeah, Ben Jacobs will give us the latest in the window. Mike Gatting will tell us if the England team should play in handcuffs. And we'll speak to the author Iceland Khan about his book celebrating Arsenal's title win.
Yes, we'll ask Robbie Earnshaw if he booed Oliver Glasner last night. Comedian and Everton fan Sam Avery is on, and nicest man in the world, Gary Mabbott, is the only man who can draw some positives out of Tottenham's opening game of the season.
All that between now and 4. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Charlie.
Good afternoon. Gary Mabbott played v the Gulls. I saw him play v the Gulls once in the Littlewoods Cup.
All right. Does anyone have a less interesting Gary Mabbott?
Well, if you're little old Torquay, Max, you don't get to see Gary Mabbott.
No, of course.
But what was Gary Mabbott? Do you know he was he had diabetes?
No, I know we haven't.
And the other player in the league who had diabetes was a Torquay United player, Mark Lorham.
Right.
There were only two, Max. Wow. And they were on the same pitch.
Amazing.
Imagine if there was no insulin that night.
Yeah, but there was.
It was
fortunately. Yeah, what a player. Played sort of holding midfield quite a lot. You know when Mark Gay went into holding midfield? I'm trying to bring it into the modern day.
Yeah.
Gary Mabbott did that
all
a lot.
the young people listening.
Because growing up in the 80s, sort of late 80s, he was like a centre-back, but actually, played holding midfield in those 84 Cup Winners' Cup games, marking Enzo Schifo out the game. What a player. And he will draw a positive out of that. He'll find a way.
Something.
He'll find a way. We could all be a little bit more.
I felt sad for Spurs because I felt sad for my Spurs supporting friends.
It's okay. I found
my friend Paul Hawks.
Yeah, I suppose I'm less invested. I just found it quite funny.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
that's because you're more of a Cambridge United.
Yeah, I was at the Abbey last night.
Oh, he loves the Abbey.
Yeah, I haven't been for quite a long time because it's quite hard to get there for me. But Millwall at home, obviously, before the game, I decked all the Millwall fans, took them all out.
Went in there.
Yeah. There was a good bit, actually, after the game. Me and my friend Clive was having a pint at the Devonshire Arms, lovely pub. And about 20 Cambridge fans were sort of running down the street. They were all about 17.
Yeah.
Bit of bum fluff. None of them taller than 5'8". And they yelled at these people, "Are you Millwall? Are you Millwall?" Like 3 16-year-olds. Yeah. And they were like, no, we're Cambridge now. Where do you live? Bishop Stortford. I went, okay. And you were like, just imagine if around the corner someone had just gone, "We're Millwall."
proper big
The
bloke.
Cambridge firm was so pathetic.
The Ben Sherman guys were around the corner.
Don't be doing that, lads.
With
Come on.
The Burberry scarves.
You Millwall. It's not working. The firm, it's just, you've got to know your place, right? There's no firm.
There's no firm.
Anyway, the game, we played quite well.
Was it a good game, Max?
Nah, it wasn't really a great game. It was a bit boring. Millwall went 1 up early. I can't remember if it was Jake Cooper who scored. He's a centre-back who plays for Millwall. And I know you're not interested in the heights of footballers. Wikipedia says he's only 6'4". And he's played about 400 times for Millwall.
Okay.
He cannot be under 9 foot. He's like the largest. It was like watching the BFG.
Yeah.
It was just an absolutely enormous. They say man mountain. Yeah. A bit too much.
A ball playing man. Good touch for a big man.
Not bad. Not a bad touch for a big man.
But a championship.
I did also Lyndon Dykes was up front for them, and he was fine. But watching the way Ollie McBurney slalom past the whole Man United team on Sunday. I was like, I think Steve Clarke could have taken McBurney.
Why didn't he take McBurney?
Because he didn't.
Been discussed?
He didn't. I think it's been discussed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're already doing a lot of Scottish football, and we have to understand that football fans in England don't care.
Yeah, but I think they care about Ollie McBurney and him turning into prime Maradona.
I care about Ollie McBurney, but yeah, that was such a good run. Anyway, the low light of it was it the low light? It was
I'd like a show of lowlights.
A show of lowlights.
Match of the day, lowlights.
I'm there with one of my oldest friends, Clive. Right.
Not for me, Clive.
Not Clive Tilsley. It was not Clive Tilsley.
Okay.
No, we did not go to school together. We did not.
Do you have a friend called Clive, or are you a Clive 8 to 9? You don't meet many Clives now.
I don't think we need to throw that out, do we?
Yeah, we do 8, 10, 89. Yes, please. Who's the best Clive?
You're seeing what sticks.
Alan.
You're seeing what sticks, aren't you?
Clive
Let
Allen.
me tell my story.
Okay, get on with it.
I'm there with Clive. We've ordered the Philly cheesesteak, which was better on the night than this morning.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
But I've got the club have sorted me out with tickets. I did do the the launch video for the kids, so they owed me a bit of a favour.
How much is it into Cambridge?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't be able to be Prime Minister. How much is a pint of milk, Prime Minister?
I think a pint of milk is £300.
I don't know, 4, 5,
now,
4, 5,000 pounds.
The right honourable man for Chumsley Whittingfall, which is a lovely little place near Chipping Norton.
You had your.
So I sat there. We're quite near the press. We're near the press box. I know a few of the guys. The guy Carl Bates works for Millwall. I know him. There's Jono and Doug who do the Radio Cambridge commentary.
Good lads.
I look right behind me. I am sitting right in front of the Moose. I was like,
Was the Moose on updates?
Moose was on updates. I booed him in the first update. Have we ever forgot that clip? We got it later. We've forgotten to find it. I booed him. And but Adrian was hosting, so I don't think Adrian liked it because, it's been a professional job. And then the Moose was on Instagram. There was this music coming out of his phone. I was like, could you turn that down?
Was he just flicking through reels?
I was like, can you watch the game, please? I did message Aid to say, look, can you tell Moose next time you come to him to stop looking at Instagram and watch the game? Because some of his updates, they didn't chime with what I was watching.
Oh, okay.
He said Millwall were all over us. They weren't. We had a lot of the ball,
Yeah, but that's because you were watching it through Cambridge.
I was watching it and I wasn't looking at my Instagram. I wasn't watching. He was watching. Oh, there it is. There's the selfie I took. Oh, there we are. Moose right behind me. And I thought we could do the text topic. I am Clive from Neighbours, says Ben. Of course, Clive, Dr. Clive Gibbons.
Oh, yeah, very nice.
Nothing says Cambridge quite like a pair of fans calling Max and Clive having 1 pint post-match. Snowflake, says David Nuneaton. Anyway, the question is, it's sort of a pantomime text topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he or she was behind me.
Yeah,
I turned around and he or she was behind me.
Very nice.
I turned around, it was the Moose. And actually, it was, he tried to spark up a few comments, telling me some scores. Maybe he was talking to the guy next to him, I don't know. But he did his job, did it pretty well. I thought, fair play, professional. And then he sent me a nice message saying, good luck, my good friend.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
I've made it. Check if he still blocked me on Instagram or whatever. But I turned around and it was bleep.
There we are.
1889.
And it was blank.
Yeah.
Super hard. What do you
Mark says, hi lads. I don't want to be that guy, but this has been bugging me all morning. Celtic were not knocked out of the Champions League. They were never in it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Patton Hamill says, my mum and dad have a friend called Clive. Used to do maintenance for EasyJet. He's retired now. Has a moustache.
I like him. I like him.
Anyway, 1889.
If you wanted him to bring his tools, it was extra.
Yeah.
10 quid extra.
Of course it was. Well, he would bring his small bag of tools for free. But if you wanted his big bag of tools, it would be $49.99.
Exactly.
Of course, especially if you didn't book it. If you hadn't booked in advance and then he came to the door, then it was 75 quid.
I think we've got it.
Do you understand the game?
I like it. I've got it now. If anyone needs it, Leon Ascot is in Clint Eastwood's mate is not a Clive, the orangutan. It's Clyde.
Oh, okay.
It's Clyde, so it doesn't count, I'm afraid.
Please don't get things wrong. That's for us to do. You're here to get things right. 1889 at Max Rushden at Baker's tweet. Gordon Smith is a former FA chief executive of the Scottish FA. Played up front for Rangers as well. We're going to talk about Celtic going out and the sort of general state of Scottish football in just a second. I saw Martin doing his interview afterwards and covering the players. It was an appallingly cowardly performance from Celtic.
Cowardly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the goal that really started the rot was an unforgivable error from one of their players knocking it back into the space where the guy can just run in and score a goal, which brought them back from the dead, this team. And then to concede goals directly after half-time, you wonder what managers say to these players at half-time that makes them so unresponsive that they go and concede a goal. But I thought it was a dreadful performance. And all this nonsense about, they might have got lucky in the first leg. I didn't hear that narrative being spun out when they won the first leg 3-0. All of a sudden, people are saying, well, they got lucky in the first leg. They did have a lot of shots on goal, this team. Their expected XG was 3 last week, but they didn't score 3. They scored 0.
Yeah.
And in this instance, you look at the performance and you go, what Martin taking the blame for it. This is not about Martin O'Neill. This was about the players on the field. And they didn't buy this player. And they sold £36 million worth of players and they only bought in £32 million worth of players. And the players that came off the bench didn't look like they had the wherewithal. It should never got to the stage where extra time came to play and the players that came off the bench look all lost. They were just cowardly. They were 4-0 up in a Champions League qualifier with the game done. They hand them back an initiative by giving them 1 goal, and then they
Here's that. Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be cool. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Max Rush and Charlie Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Tool Station. Stay switched on with lighting and electrical essentials. First stop Tool Station. On the subject of and they were behind me because I was at the Abbey yesterday. I turned around and the Moose was sitting behind me. What a name drop. I was on a train to London. I heard a voice I recognised. I turned around and there was Timmy Mallet telling a fellow passenger all about the app What 3 Words. I don't know that app. Is that a good app?
You don't know about What 3 Words, Max?
No.
You need to go to a specific place.
Right.
They've basically broken the country up into tiny little squares.
All right.
And each tiny little square has 3 words attached to it. So it might be paper, book, T-shirt.
Right.
But they're all different. Okay. So instead of it being a postcode, you go to a specific 1 metre square.
All right.
So if you get lost, you can tell the ambulance or the whatever
it's a
you need.
Thing. I was trying to think what's the point of this?
Exactly where you are, rather than just in a general direction.
Well, I know where I am.
Well, you know where you are, but you might need other people to know where you are.
Well, I'm on currently, if you're interested to know where I am exactly, it's the 17th floor.
I'll find out what 3 words are for the news book. Let us know what 3... It's the What 3 Word phone-in. Are we going to do that?
We can do. Sure.
Where are you? What 3 words?
At my grassroots club, I turned around and I literally bumped into Prince William, who was watching Prince George.
Wow.
Ginger Bracknell must be doing okay, you know.
Do you think he runs
swimming in those circles?
Do you think he runs the line? Prince William?
Prince William.
Puts his hand up to run the line at all? His flag, got his own flags.
Has he got his own?
They've got plenty of You know when he's in, because his flag's up.
It's a absolutely massive flag with his own coat of arms.
Plenty of
and when
flags.
he waves for offside, he knocks a 5-year-old over, doesn't he? If it's if it's a close offside, it's just the right winger is down.
If he refs, he uses one of those big trumpets.
All right. Does he use a bugle?
That's what he uses, yeah.
What's for full time?
The long one.
For full time, he does the whole of the last post.
That's the end of it. He's good. He's good at grassroots level.
Yeah, and he doesn't want VAR to come in, of course.
Absolutely.
You know,
No way.
absolutely hates that stuff. But like, he's a decent ref. He said, look, I forgot how to address a royal, so I said, sorry, mate. He smiled and said, that's okay.
That's allowed, isn't it?
Yeah. So
he'd be all right with that. I don't think there'd be other royals that'd be furious about that. Who are you calling mate?
Pat says, years ago I turned around in a card shop in Lakeside while in the queue and Martin Peters was behind me. I spun around to tell my wife. Presumably, if Span around, then why was your wife standing next to Martin Peters? That would have been a shock. Anyway,
did they have something to tell you?
Yeah. And knocked a display over with my carrier bag. I looked at Martin. I could just read his mind from his expression. What a prat. It's okay, Pat. I'm sure.
What a prat. Calling yourself a prat.
I'm sure Martin's forgiven you. Anyway, let's talk about Celtic going out of the Champions League. I was listening to Breakfast this morning. Adrian Durham was on with Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist, and he said Scottish football needs to work together to fix the issues they have at the moment.
How has this happened? I think you've just got to go back to the end of last season. Scottish football is eating itself. Every season it happens, and last season it happened worse than ever. Hearts showed some smart thinking, some common sense to build, to do something a bit special, to do something unheard of. And what happened was Celtic panicked, took a huge step backwards by appointing Martin O'Neill, no disrespect. And yes, they won the title, they won the cup and all that, but at what cost? At what cost? I look at Rangers took the Hearts captain and top scorer Shankland. They're wasting his talent at Ibrox. Rangers have had a European mayor. Hearts collapsed out of the Champions League before the end of July. Celtic an embarrassment. I think the clubs in Scotland need to take more responsibility, work together to save the future of Scottish football, to save themselves and the Scottish national team as well.
Gordon Smith is former FA chief executive, played up front for Rangers as well. Hey, Gordon.
Hey, Gordon.
Hi, good afternoon, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Do you know, I hear a lot things like there needs to be more investment in Scottish football, and a sort of, you know, all these things are wrong. There needs to be more investment. Adrian saying clubs need to come together. And I often think, I never hear anyone going, well, this is where the money would come from, right? Like, it's great to say we should chuck loads of money into Scottish youth development, but the money has to come from somewhere. And I'm sure in your role, when you were the chief executive of the Scottish FA, you were having these conversations all the time.
Yeah, it's very difficult to know where the money is going to come from because Scotland doesn't have any like this type of money that even England has in terms of from the TV and all that sort of thing. It's much, much less. Rangers and Celtic have got a lot of money compared to the other clubs, and Celtic in particular were looking very good. Last night was very, very crucial defeat for them because that was them. They were going to lose. They're now going to lose about 50, 60 million pounds because of the defeat last night. So it's not just about the money, it's also about the development of players and such. I mean, a lot of the clubs that come on that don't have the money either and develop their players internally. We're not developing as many players these days as we should. You know, you look at most of the Scottish teams, and a Saturday comes along, a match day comes along, and you're finding that there's very few Scottish players are in the teams that are playing. So that, you know, that's a factor.
Yeah, but how do you actually fix that? Because, you know, on Breakfast they were talking about, look, what England did with St George's Park. And I'm sure when you were running the FA, you'd have loved to have built an equivalent. But again, that costs lots of money.
Yeah, it does cost a lot of money. It's not just about the facilities you've got. It's about the coaching and the development of players too, in terms of bringing players through and giving them an opportunity to play and be seen and know that they can actually do a job. I mean, you even look last night. I mean, I'll give you a good example. One of the players that came on against Celtic last night for Lask, he was actually at St Mirren last season, and he won the League Cup with St Mirren. And there's none of the big Scottish clubs moved for him. I mean, and he came on as a substitute, obviously, last night, but he looked really, really good. Celtic couldn't handle him when he came on. His pace, running with the ball and getting forward. And yet you think, why is he playing for St Mirren? And then he ends up going to Austria rather than going to like Rangers or Celtic.
How would you change the direction of travel, Gordon, for Scottish football? I mean, you know, you look back at the great Celtic teams of the 60s and the 70s in Europe, and you know, they have had great times, and football does go in peaks and troughs. But how do you change the direction of travel, do you think, Gordon?
I think it's just that it's obviously the game has to be competitive at a higher level. I mean, the thing is, I mean, a lot of the changes were made. Rangers, Celtic and Hearts have made quite a few changes in the summer there, and we're going into Europe with their teams not quite ready, established teams. So they have to be a bit more steady and rock sure about how they're going to actually perform in the season. But I'll tell you, I'll go back to the Celtic game last night, though. I would say there's one significant factor in this game that they actually, it was down to the mindset. Celtic I think, took their foot off the gas. Because as soon as they went 4-0 up, I think they relaxed and thought, this is it, game's over. Because we're getting told after the first leg that they're practically through, right? and then they get the first goal in that game, and I think the players just switched off because I'll tell you what, there was a lack of work rate among them, and they were second to every ball. They were getting beaten almost every challenge. There wasn't enough of support when somebody was on the ball. They didn't have enough options on the ball because that depends on people working hard, and that's what Lask were doing in the game, and that's why they deserved to win in the end up. And Celtic just threw it away.
Yeah, but I suppose Celtic having a bad performance doesn't necessarily mean the whole of Scottish football is bad, or they're kind of separate conversations, right? This idea of, Adrian saying that the clubs need to come together, and I always think, there's so much self-interest, right, in football, that the idea that Rangers and Celtic and Hearts and Hibs and whoever would sit around a table for the greater good is like, it's a beautiful image, but I mean, you will know better than I will. It doesn't sound very likely.
Well, they don't know that every club is interested in itself.
Yeah.
Obviously, they want to see Scottish football. I mean, last night, is bad for the Scottish game because Celtic got through. It would have been good for the going forward. You know what I mean? So it would have helped. It helped also with the fact that you get more teams in Europe if your teams are doing well. But that was poor. But as I say, it was down to Celtic are actually better than what they showed last night. I mean, although they didn't dominate the first game. They won 3-0, and because they got a first goal last night as well, they just switched off, and they're better than what they showed, and that was a very disappointing aspect of it. I think that Celtic are a strong side just now, and Rangers obviously need to come back as well. They've got a new manager in, they've got to develop, they get new players in. Obviously a bad start to the season European wise, but they're still in the Conference League, and see how they got on there. But as I say, it's a hard challenge. It's financially. It is a burden for the Scottish clubs because they do not have collectively the type of money that's going to come into top European teams.
Sure. Thanks for coming on, Gordon. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, then.
Gordon Smith, former Scottish FA Chief Executive and Rangers forward. David Portishead says, afternoon, boys. I attended the Ryder Cup at Celtic Manor. I needed the loo. I was stood at the urinal, I looked to my right and saw Tiger Woods. It's not I turned a dozen different phone in.
No, and it's not flanked up the latrines. No. Paul and Andy do a lot of the time.
Of course, that's all they do. In fact, it is that's turning 90 degrees. We want 180.
Behind you.
This works. I was on a flight a few weeks ago from Manchester to Munich. A short while into the flight, my wife noticed that Vincent Kompany was in the seat behind me. We hit a bit of turbulence on our approach to Munich, and he had both hands gripping the back of my seat. He'd settled down when the BMW met him on the runway and whisked him away.
Oh.
No cattle trucks for him.
Company was good playing behind you, wasn't he? He just sort of sat in behind you, and so you could, so your mum could have moved forward a bit.
Well, absolutely. He was like, get up, get up, get up,
move towards the front of the plane. I'm covering this. I'm fine.
Up we go. Your wife's playing them all on side, for goodness sake.
That kid in the window seat. Get the ball out to him.
This is Rushden and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. First up, Toolstation. What we're doing next? Ben Jacobs going to come on. We'll do some transfer stuff.
Mate, we ain't back, are we?
No.
We ain't back.
No,
I'm a bit worried, mate. I'm a bit worried now.
You're taking 10th? You consider... Okay, give me this. I'm giving you 10th now. Are you considering it?
Maybe. Yeah, I might put...
Mate, at 7:30 on Saturday, you might be taking both arms off.
Oh, God. You know what I'm worried about, right? We made all these signings.
What part are you worried about?
No, I mean, but the front three is just so bad. I can't believe that front three. It was unbelievable. Mikey Moore, Tell and Richarlison. The team looked worse than last season. Like, when you actually looked at it, Spurs' team looked worse than last season. The only player you'd say in there was Tonali, where we paid 100 million for him, right?
Toenail.
But, really...
Tonali.
Van Hecker and Senesi at the back, right? Van de Ven is better than Senesi. Van Hecker had a bit of a stinker. Romero, on his day, is better than Van Hecker, all right? Archie Gray is not as good as Porro. And left back, Robertson, okay, I thought he'd done all right, but, he's
We need a bit more from him, but it's first game.
What about Slipsky?
The front three was it was awful.
What about Slipsky?
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the tax man at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
The 150th anniversary test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army.
Are you ready for a trip of a lifetime? We're sending you and a mate down under. Imagine being in Melbourne next March. It just doesn't... I will be in Melbourne. I can imagine. I know what it's like. It's great. Come round for tea and do some childcare and go and watch England take on Australia in the 150th Test match completely on us. Thanks to Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army, you and a mate could win the ultimate 7-night all-inclusive trip to Melbourne. We're talking return flights, match tickets for all 5 days, an exclusive function with cricket legends and a tour of the Great Ocean Road. Charlie.
For your chance to win, visit talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338 by 6 p.m. on the 1st of September 2026. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can send your name and number by post to Comp2 PO Box 3190 Colchester CO28GP to arrive by midnight on the 4th of September.
What's the funniest postcode?
2026, 18 plus, UK residents only. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com.
The clock is ticking, just 6 days away from the transfer window closing. I'm not in the top 5, Jim.
No way.
Top 10, maybe?
You give it a go.
Sure to Avalanche.
Top 10 where?
Top 10 in talkSPORT.
In talkSPORT, okay.
Yeah.
Clink's your best.
I mean, nothing was better than our competition. Do you remember Roland de Châtelet?
Oh, that was good.
Or Roland de Château and it was a really good, fun competition. Stay tuned as our team of Transfer Insiders exclusive reveal who your club is signing, confirm every done deal before anyone else. Adrian Durham and Steve Bruce on air from 7 before Jim White returns to front his second show of the day. That's not enough, Jim. Have him every other show. Come on, Jim. Pull your finger out from 10 until 11. Tuesday, the 1st of September, download our free TalkSport app. Watch us on your smart TV or YouTube and follow the live blog at talksport.com. One man who will be heavily involved in that is our senior football correspondent, Ben Jacobs. Hey, Ben.
Good afternoon.
Now, look, just before we do transfer stuff, Martin Ziegler, who broke the story originally, I think, from the Times, has just posted on social media that UEFA are going to call off their threatened boycott of FIFA tournaments after receiving necessary assurances from FIFA over the World Cup sell-off. I'm yet to click the link, Ben, so I don't know what those assurances are, but the key is in the detail here, right? If they've just gone, actually, we can't do this because there are Women's World Cup qualifiers coming up and we just, then that's a bit of a cop-out because they've been really strong up till now, UEFA.
Yeah, the boycott, in my opinion, was always hovering as a threat to put pressure on Gianni Infantino, but the follow-through has all manner of logistical complications and, to be honest, not that much bearing on the Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland, because I've always been under the impression if a boycott was to materialise, you would start in competitions that had not got qualifiers or plans already in place, as opposed to just immediately. But essentially what has happened is tomorrow in Monaco, there is a UEFA Executive Committee meeting. And at that meeting, UEFA officials are expected to confirm that the boycott is no longer in place. Why? Because from day one of FIFA Forward Enterprise, when UEFA decided to threaten this boycott, they said it would be removed if there were two conditions. The first was that Infantino's plans were shelved. That's done. The second was that they were satisfied that there was no possibility of the plans being resurrected or similar breakaways and or privatisation plans. And UEFA feels satisfied now that this is no longer an issue regarding the structure and the future of FIFA tied towards private investment. In other words, a kind of European Super League, but globally. And instead now their efforts are going to turn towards still trying to oust Gianni Infantino. So tomorrow it's likely to be ratified and approved by UEFA's members that there will be no boycott. The Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland will go ahead according to plan. All of the UEFA entrants are there and they will play. And now we've got this big push between now and November the 18th to either have Infantino resign, have Infantino have a viable candidate stand against him, or alternatively, table a vote of no confidence in the hope of forcing him out. And UEFA, along with CONCACAF allies and some from Asia as well, are keeping all of those options open.
Should we move on to transfers? Yeah. Ben, can you tell me, is the Martinelli to Al Hilal instead of or alongside the Watkins to Al Hilal deal?
It's both. Obviously,
Really?
separate deals, separate clubs.
Yeah.
But Gabriel Martinelli agreed in principle to Al Hilal. My understanding is it's over 65 million euros. And Martinelli now is basically waiting to get permission to undergo the medical, but also to just finalise one or two things around the project. The financials are fine, 20 million euros a year, and Al Hilal are just hoping to get green light from all parties, maybe even as early as today, and then that one will be done, and it will be a record sale for Arsenal if all goes according to plan. Sometimes players kind of agree terms and there's an agreement in principle, and with any other deal you say, okay, it just has to have the medical passed. But in Saudi, there's kind of like a financial green light which comes quickly because the money's lucrative, and then a project green light. You definitely want to go to Saudi Arabia. Are you sold on things like the facilities, the long-term investment? Is this going to be a league that develops when you're there, or could it be like the Chinese Super League originally that comes and goes? And players have to think about their family and going from things like morning training to evening training and so on. So this is why it takes a little bit more time, but I expect that deal to happen. Ollie Watkins to Al Hilal, player wants the move. It again is basically agreed with Aston Villa for somewhere around the 60 million euros mark, but Villa need to find a replacement, if not two sources of goals before they sanction that exit. So Watkins faces a little bit of a nervous wait as time ticks away, and one of those names that Villa are gaining optimism they can get over the line is Nicholas Jackson.
Right, okay. Marmoush is done, is it?
Yeah. It's a loan with an obligation to buy, £50 million plus 10 million in add-ons, and Tottenham have got that double deal. Savino confirmed yesterday, Marmoush formalised today, and they'd still like to get Cody Gakpo as well. Manchester City could, of course, enter that race as well, but Tottenham are not done in the market.
Wow. And so, does that rely on Barcola going to Liverpool before they get rid of Gakpo?
I think Liverpool will need two. If they only get one, such as Barcola, then they may push for Gakpo to remain. And that's ultimately why he started against Newcastle and scored a fantastic goal. But Tottenham are really going to be quite aggressive on this front. And as I say, Manchester City cannot be totally discounted either. If Liverpool add two, I expect Gakpo to go. If Liverpool add one, it's a bit more complicated. Barcola key meeting yesterday as Liverpool try and get a bit more clarity now, because if they don't have an agreement in principle for Barcola this week, it's not necessarily ideal to be leaving that until the final minutes of the window, especially when you still may need to resolve Gakpo and they want another attacker in. So Liverpool are pushing now to see whether they can make a breakthrough, and that could potentially come as early as the next 24 to 48 hours. The price has definitely dropped from 170 million euros, but how low is a point of debate amongst sources. Some say 120 million pounds, others still say a little bit higher there. And then Liverpool want one more, and we know that they've hit a bit of a deadlock with the Yankuba Minter talks. Ismail Assar has been discussed as well. So Liverpool are going to be really active, especially this week, but I would imagine right up until deadline day with both incomings and potential outgoings as well.
How solid is the Ismail Assar Palace to Liverpool rumour?
It depends who you speak to. So my understanding as of now, Wednesday lunch, in case people watch this again on YouTube, is that there's been no formal offer and Steve Parish wants to keep. That was also informed to Galatasaray as well. So it's complicated because Crystal Palace may need a replacement as well. But Liverpool have held talks, and if the door opens from Crystal Palace, they may be prepared to move. It's leverage, though, as well, because the Minter price at the moment is £80 million. And if Liverpool have got Sarr, Minter, some say Ibrahim Mbaye, who has a high asking price, Barcola, and no doubt there'll be others as well. We know Newcastle are trying for Mateus Fernandes-Pardo, but he's been a name that a few weeks ago was on Liverpool's list as well. So this feels like Barcola plus one, and Liverpool probably like the idea that they're spinning multiple plates. So whoever that plus one is, they're able to have multiple options in the hope of getting some of these prices down. But Galatasaray have found it really hard to get Ismail Assar over the line. They've had 2 bids rejected, and Palace have said to them, not for sale. Sarr would be open to Liverpool, and now it really all hinges on Crystal Palace and whether Steve Parish is prepared to open the door. And I think Liverpool, and the reason why they're cautious is because remember Mark Gay, where Liverpool thought the player wanted the move, and that was accurate. They had the deal in place eventually, and that was accurate. Crystal Palace didn't bring in a defensive reinforcement. The player was trying to formalise the move. Parish pulled the plug, and this is why there is some caution over Ismail Assar, even though, to my understanding, the interest is genuine.
Who's Mateus Fernandes? I thought you were saying Mateus Fernandes. Like Spurs getting rid of him already after 4 hours. Mateus Fernandes, pardon?
Yeah, it's all getting a bit confusing because you got Mateus Fernandes who went to Tottenham. You've got Mateus Fernandes-Pardo. Always, by the way, get that double-barreled the wrong way around. And Newcastle have made 2 bids, according to my information. One is 45 and one is closer to 60. And yet Lille really don't want to sell, but maybe 70, 75 million euros could become a possibility. And Liverpool had the player on their list, but I'm not aware that it's developed at the time of recording. And then another Fernandes, of course, Enzo Fernandes, Manchester City, expected to bid. So we've had a lot of Fernandeses this window, and I agree with you, it's getting very complicated.
Good stuff, Ben. Thanks for keeping across it.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks a lot.
Because I certainly couldn't.
I would have no idea.
Could say some things, but Mateus Fernandes, pardon. I looking forward to him joining. Anyway, so yeah, it is a good window. It isn't always a good window, and some people occasionally might,
Is that because you're thinking Spurs of size?
No. I just think generally there is like this. There is normally a domino effect, but quite often nothing happens, or it's all happened already. But there are a lot of clubs who are still doing a lot of things, and you're waiting for, like he says, Fernandes has to go, and then this happens. Or Barcola turns up, and then he goes there, and it is odd though. Like surely just finish it before the season. It's weird that Gakpo scored that goal for Liverpool, and then might not be. That's like get it done earlier, or just don't have any window.
Don't have a window.
Like
Would you still have the window?
What?
If you offered it again now, if you could take it away and give it back, would you give it back?
Are you trying to take
if
it
you
away?
If you're allowed to cancel the window now.
All right.
And then you're thinking, actually, it was quite good. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, what would Jim do twice a year?
Yeah, but I mean, that's not for us to worry about.
That is what I'm worried about.
Okay, he'll be fine. I think he'll be okay. Mike Gatting will join us in just a second, former England cricket captain. Plenty to talk about with Gats, and we'll do that in just a second.
Would you both have expected better than what you saw from Tottenham? And I think the answer
I'm
to
not
that
surprised
is,
that they lost.
Oh, yes.
I'm not surprised that they lost, but the
Not
manner...
taking anything away from Brentford, though.
No, the manner in which they lost surprised me. Because there didn't seem to be any fight or any change in gear, or the mindset hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. A soft underbelly from Spurs, and they're going to have to eradicate that very quickly.
And both of you think they'll do one hell of a lot better than 17th.
Well,
so
with
do
the players
still
they're now
have
buying,
heightened
yes.
expectations that they might be top half? Then they might be top 6.
No, I'm thinking top half of the table. I'm not saying they're going to be, it would be a surprise. They could do 6th, 7th, but they're going to have to improve massively, Jim, from what we saw at the weekend. And where are these players that have been injured for so long? Look, there's an awful lot of players.
Fit, isn't he?
Van der Ven wasn't available, Jim. You look at the back four, there's hardly anybody playing from last season. So, they're facts, but get them fit then. Let's get them out there.
We saw Newcastle yesterday and how they went about it. We saw... They're at home, yeah. But we saw Tottenham and how they went about it as chalk and cheese.
But I think this is great for De Zerbi because he'll sort the wheat from the chaff. And for me, I don't have any expectation of Tottenham. They're not my football club. So, I don't particularly admire their board and I don't particularly like their manager. So I don't have an objective view. So I'm quite happy to see them struggle. But that's me being mean-spirited. But
Here's that. Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. Thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for two to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Good afternoon, Max Rushden and Charlie Baker with you on talkSPORT with Tool Stations. Stay switched on with lighting and electrical essentials. First up, Tool Station. Julian says, hi guys, 2 weeks before the 1998 World Cup. I turned around and it was.
Yes.
I was sat in the front row stalls watching the musical Cabaret.
Oh, lovely.
I turned around and saw Glenn Hoddle and the whole of the England football team, except for David Beckham, sat in the row behind us. At the end, the cast wished them good luck and then we had to let them leave first.
1998. I wonder who was in it that year. I'm going to look it up.
98 is the classic, Sol Campbell, Dislow Goal, Owen V. Owen Cabaret.
That shows the two ends we come from, Max.
Who was in Cabaret?
I was thinking, who was in Cabaret?
What station is this?
Who was not?
Oh, I must.
And that's when I question myself. What am I doing on?
You sit down with the bosses, go, we love Charlie, we love his energy, but is he really focused on the sport? I wonder who was in Cabaret in 1998. Anyway, let's turn our attention to the cricket. England captain Joe Root spoke to the media yesterday after Bryden Cast was withdrawn from the squad for the second test with Pakistan after pictures emerged of him in handcuffs after a night out. He spoke about that another England nightclub debacle.
I'm being brutally honest, I'm really hacked off. I'm really disappointed that after last week's performance we're sat here and we're talking about nothing related to it at all. I don't think it's not the isolated incident itself. I think it's the fact that we continually keep making stupid mistakes. away from the game, and it's detracting from what we're doing on the field. In many ways, we're going to have to earn a lot of trust back, and something that we're going to have to live and breathe, consistently. I've made it very clear what is expected of them, how we want to conduct ourselves to start with, and over time, we've got to live it. I don't think it's been a very good look of the recent past, if I'm being brutally honest, at all. But again, I'll take you back to what lies ahead of us and what we can do to change that.
Joe Root there, England captain. Let's speak to a former England captain, Mike Gatting. Hey, Gats.
Hello, mate.
Hi, Max. Hi, Charlie.
Lovely to talk to you. Look, we really want to talk about the, your community cricket heroes thing that you're doing with the MCC, and it's a really important thing. So, forgive us for asking these questions first, but obviously it is a different time. I'm sure you enjoyed a night out, Mike, when you were playing for England. I don't presume you ended up in handcuffs most evenings, but what do you make of what has sort of happened again and again and again with this side?
I think it's very disappointing, and I think Joe handled that press conference extremely well. And I think he before we played the last Test match, which we won, he set out what he wanted his team to be seen as, and I think he made it pretty clear. He was upset with what obviously happened in Australia, and obviously subsequently when our last captain decided to step down, and he wanted to have a fresh start. And I think it was a brilliant start by the team. They did everything that they probably didn't do in Australia. They caught well, they bowled well, they batted well, sensibly, and they won a Test match. And for something like this to happen so sort of shortly after a very good win at Test cricket, to see somebody forget all that has been said whilst the new regime has come in with a new coach, etc. Very disappointing for everybody concerned, I think. And the only way really to do it, I think Owen Morgan was one that got rid of a certain person for a year. Just take a break and see whether or not you can understand what actually is required of a thing. And yes, look, we had some good nights out, but you did it at the right time, and you hopefully didn't really end up in handcuffs. And so I'd be sort of hypocritical if I said we didn't. But there aren't mobile phones these days, or those days, and there are now, and you just have to be a little bit more sensible. And as I say, it is a difficult one. But in this day and age, sadly, you do have to be a little bit more aware of what's going on.
Yeah, the difficulty in the balance between trusting players to behave like adults and trusting them not to need a curfew, and to have that thrown back in your face must be so difficult as a captain. How do you feel Joe Root will drive the team on from now on? What do you think he'll try and change, Mike?
I think he made it very clear in his interview that he was hacked off, and I would have been too, because everything that he's tried to start afresh, which needed to happen, he got the team playing well. They won a Test match. It was done in the right manner, and then all of a sudden, something totally outside has happened. That he's obviously spoken to everybody that was a part of that group.
Yeah,
and they obviously disregarded it and ended up where they did. Just very sad. I can't say any more than that. As a captain, you really have no other option but to ask the guys to be sensible. And if they're not, well, perhaps they don't deserve to be in the team.
Yeah.
And certainly that is something I'm sure they're looking at.
I suppose it's interesting, isn't it? Lots of us in our 20s, and you're right, social media didn't exist then either. We could go out and I've never been arrested, but you could go out and have a night out and not worry about it. But now you don't want them not to have a life. And that is no. And I think we kind of, all of us from the outside can be quite critical of elite sports people who do have to make a lot of sacrifices. But it is look, lads, if you want to have a blowout, book a private room at some fancy place and have a blowout when there'll be leave your phones at the door. And I know that's not like real life, but that is a sort of way of doing it that can mean they can have a good time, but in a sort of measured way.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you at all. I mean, that's exactly what you would hope that might be done. Look, when you win a Test match, it's time to have a celebration. I mean, when we played back in the day, we were going from a test match straight to a county championship match or something like that. So we never really had a chance to do that. But when you're away on tour, you do get a chance to enjoy the win and enjoy what you're doing. And there is, as you say, a time and a place, and a bit of common sense needs to be had. And as I say, as a team, you want to be all together, I would have thought, if you're celebrating a win. And that's what you said is actually very sensible. And one does wonder sometimes that, well, look, we all make mistakes, but you've got to stop somewhere, and somebody has got to just understand what is required.
Yeah, it's taken me 15 years, but finally said something sensible. I'm delighted.
Mike Gatting says Max Rushden for England captain. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
At least the social media organiser. Talk to us about the MCC and the Community Cricket Heroes campaign, Mike.
Yeah, look, this is fantastic. I mean, there are so many people. We talk about Test cricket here, but without the clubs and the volunteers that run those clubs, and the people that give up their time, no pay or anything, and they spend hours and hours. And it really is a sort of a method here of just showing how much we appreciate what they do. And the MCC and the cricketer have got together to actually pick 11 of these people who, we had loads and loads of people being put forward for this award, and we finally got through to 11. And the many people that were put forward, and all they do, look, without these sort of people, clubs don't run. And even more so these days, where I think people really want to be paid these days, and you don't get the people because there's different things to do. There's lots more to do.
Yeah.
But you still have these certain people who've had obviously a good experience maybe as a young person, and realised without their coaches in their day, they wouldn't have had the love of the game, and now they're taking it through. But sadly, they're dwindling. And this is just to sort of promote and make sure these people are well aware that we appreciate them so much, because without them, clubs don't run.
Yeah, and the winners, they get to attend England v Pakistan Test, and they have a special celebration day, and they watch the game from the President's Suite in the hospitality. If people want to put someone forward for that, Mike, is that, I'm assuming you've got the 11 for this year, but do people find that online?
Yes, I think they can go online to the cricketers. I can't actually find that.
I've just literally just Googled MCC Community Cricket Heroes, and it takes you.
And it'll take you through to nominate people, because everybody will know exactly the person in their club who is the best volunteer.
Yeah, I think just one point. It's just when I was running recreation at VCB, it was always going around to the clubs, and they were the same sort of. It was a bit like last of the summer wine when you turned up there. The same people have been doing it for sort of ages and ages. For those that have watched Last of the Summer Wine, it really is, and I always say to the people who actually play, even if you just do one day a year for your club, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
In the age we're in at the moment, clubs are finding it very difficult to actually make ends meet.
Cheers, Mike. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure, mate.
Former England captain Mike Gatting. If you just Google MCC Community Cricket Heroes, it'll take you to the website. You can nominate someone. He's so right, and that counts not just for cricket, but for football and all that, and grassroots. And I think when you're young, I hate sounding like an old man, but like when you're young, you just turn up and play, and you think, oh, the pitches are there, they're paid for, everything's there. And then you do start to, I ran a side for 15 years, right? And the amount of admin is just that, and that's just running one team within a club. Yeah. And just the number of people you need to give up their time for nothing for this to happen. And I guess, village cricket is harder to do for lots of reasons now.
So preparing pitches and all that is
so
impossible.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite memories of sport is playing village cricket.
It's everything that's good about sport, isn't it?
Plongy wicketkeeper who just didn't dive down the leg side because he was 60 odd. He was like, I'm not going to. He had a big. Always sometimes had a cigar while he was playing. That kind of stuff. And it had, you had 15-year-olds and 60-year-olds on the same pitch. Yeah. So look, get involved with that.
We had an 80-year-old wicketkeeper once in a team I played for.
Come on, that's silly, isn't it? Did he stand up to the quicks? Did he stand up to the quicks?
He just sort of hit him now and again. And he'd go, I'm all right. I'm okay.
It's Max and Charlie with you on talkSPORT. Non-league roundup is next. We'll speak to Eisen Khan, who's written a book, 22 Years, the inside story of Arsenal's title-winning season. Sam Avery will do some Everton, and Robbie Earnshaw will do some Nottingham Forest the next hour too.
I've got to stop you there, right? Because I've heard this guff from you and Gabby today, all right? Going on about Spurs overspending, overpaying for players.
Whoa,
all right?
wait,
And I can't believe Crookie has got the cheek to come on here as a Man United fan and say that Belieber's a good deal at 70 million. He was guff last season. He didn't play.
I think you're fine. Belieber at 70 million is going to be better value for money than Savinho at 85.
Oh, mate, you're talking absolute crap.
I'll have a little bet for you. Let's have a little bet. Who has the better season?
You signed Anthony for 75 million. You sold Pogba for £100 million.
What's going on here? Why are you two falling out?
No, but
hold on, what's going on?
Because I keep hearing Crookie go on like Man United are doing good deals.
What's happening here? Why are you two
and
rowing?
Spurs are spending too much money on players. Like,
We'll have a
having a laugh.
forfeit at the end of the season, Jamie. Jason can judge at the end of the season whoever makes more impact for their club, Belieber or Savinho. The loser has to do a show. You can do it in a United shirt. I'll
Hold
do
on,
it in a
Crookie.
shirt.
Savinho could score 25 goals this season, and Cundy will still say Belieber's at it.
Belieber's going to be the better player.
Belieber's
going to be the better player.
It's a pointless bet.
No, he will be.
I'm just sick to death of seeing Crookie come on, going on like Spurs, just because we've got cash to spend, right? And we're throwing it about, right? And everyone's getting yumper about it.
Hold on.
You know what you are, Jamie?
What's
you know
going
what Tottenham
on?
are? You know when you're a kid and you get your first Saturday job, right? It could be at a supermarket, it could be in a restaurant, it could be in a bar, and you get your first pay packet and you spend it in 24 hours.
What's wrong with you two? Jay.
Windows.
We've all done it, mate. Went out and bought Bentley with my signing on.
Jay.
Good afternoon. You are listening to the world's biggest sports radio station. It's talkSPORT. My name's Max Rushden. Alongside me, Charlie Baker. Coming up with a bit of non-league football. We'll talk Nottingham Forest after Oliver Glasner got booed. It's his second game. Cheers, guys. Sam Avery, comedian Everton fans, on as well. And we'll talk to Izan Khan, who's written a book about Arsenal's title victory. Right now, just gone to. Here's Fletch with the sport.
talkSPORT Sports Update with NordVPN. Encrypt your internet connection and protect your devices from malware and hackers with our most advanced VPN.
Good afternoon. We'll start with a significant development in the war of words between UEFA and FIFA. Here's talkSPORT senior football correspondent Ben Jacobs.
UEFA are expected to remove their boycott of FIFA competitions. A meeting of the executive committee will take place on Thursday in Monaco, where UEFA officials are expected to confirm that the conditions required to lift the boycott have been met.
Those conditions, the effective killing off of those proposals to part privatise the World Cup, but UEFA are expected to continue in their bid for leadership change at the very top of FIFA. With Forest closing in on the signature of Liam Delap, talkSPORT have been told he never had the chance to show Chelsea what he's capable of. That's according to former Blue Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who's looking forward to seeing more of Delap.
The best thing that Liam can do is what he's doing now, getting a club where he's going to play and where he's going to be the main man and get a little bit more time. Yeah. Because he can score goals.
Elsewhere, City have made Ayoub Bouadi the most expensive teenager in Premier League history. Omar Mamouche is having his Tottenham medical today, so too Nico Gonzalez, who's believed to be undergoing a check-up in Newcastle. And Palace have brought Axel Disasi to Selhurst on a loan deal until the end of the season. Finally, Joe Root's dad says the England Test captain is feeling very frustrated at the amount of off-field admin caused by the Bryden Carr saga. Matt Root told talkSPORT this isn't why he took the armband for a second time.
He's tried to give players responsibility for their own actions, and he doesn't want to spend time. He was around here on Sunday afternoon. He spent 4 hours probably on the phone trying to sort things out. He doesn't want to be doing that. He wants to be focusing on the on-field stuff.
England's second test with Pakistan starts tomorrow. Check out talkSPORT's Following On podcast.
talkSPORT News.
Police looking into a deadly house fire on Teesside say they can't rule out links to organised crime, and at least 12 Brits are among hundreds missing after deadly flash floods in Nepal. More from Amelia at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Sort your new tyres this summer at a time that suits you best from the comfort of your home or work 7 days a week with our mobile tyre fitting service. Conditions apply.
Sunny spells and scattered showers moving north, some heavy rain with hail and thunder, which could lead to flooding.
National League preview on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Yeah, afternoon everyone. Time now for a roundup of all the latest National League action with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Yes.
And let's speak to John Couch, Executive Editor at the Non-League paper. This week he's focusing on Boreham Wood.
Boreham Wood against Boston. Boreham Wood's where all the news is at the moment. We're obviously that's in respect to their star man Abdul Malik. Boreham Wood, by all accounts, turned down bids of in excess of £1.5 million for the winger, and they remain adamant that they were going to keep their biggest asset. But a statement this week from Abdul Malik himself, basically expressing his desire to chase a new challenge, and felt that he wanted to kick on his career. So it looks like his days at Boreham Wood could be coming to an end. Very doubtful he'll be in the squad for the game against Boston. But Boreham Wood, they've started the season really, really well as well, and they've just had Zach Brunt, another one of their star men who's signed a new contract there. So yeah, good news on that respect.
I thought John was coming on, but he recorded it in a club. What's he doing? Was he with Bryden Cast? Why is he listening to...
I'll give you a National League
Happy House. Why is John Couch listening to Happy House, giving an update about Boreham Wood? Is he emceeing? Where was he? Was he at Fez? Was he at Fabric? Where was he? The Hacienda?
Listen, a lot of people take the National League very seriously, and it is a very...
Well, he's taking it very seriously in a nightclub, telling everyone about it.
I didn't really understand what that was for, but...
Have you got any Dario G's? I'm doing an update on Boreham Wood.
Southend United flying, Max.
Are they?
3 wins out of 3, playing really, really good
How's
football.
Ricky Otto playing?
Sutton United also doing well.
Oh, well done to them.
Great free kick from Omar Musa the other day. Boreham Wood, I don't know how they're going to keep hold of Abdul Malik, but he is a sensational footballer, could play much higher. And, people they have short careers, don't they, these footballers? So, if he can play higher, so Boreham Wood need to let him go.
All right.
I think. But it's Hornchurch as well. Hornchurch come up from the National League South. They play in the middle of a flipping...
Og?
No, Athletic Stadium.
Oh, okay.
And yet there they are. 7th, couple of wins, playing...
How are you doing?
We are absolutely fine, thank you, Max. We're getting our team together.
Okay.
Getting our team together.
Sounds a little bit Deserby.
Dagenham,
we're not ready physically
not ready
at this level.
We will be ready. Dagenham and Redbridge, we played Saturday, who were top of the league, won 4 out of 4.
Oh, well done.
Playing very well. So they'll probably be there. But that's such a long season. So many games.
Yeah, we shouldn't get carried away.
So many games. But I'm pleased we're covering the National League.
Right, because?
And I think, because it's a great division. Yeah, it's proper football.
Yeah, I'm coming across as uncaring.
You like it?
Shouldn't be. I do, yeah. I didn't like being in it, and all I wanted to do was get out.
Oh, no, I don't want to be in it anymore. I've got at least 2 years. It's not going to be 2 years, is it? Probably another 5 years.
And the rest.
In the National League.
And the rest.
But yes, thank you, John Couch, for the
Thank you, John, from the nightclub. That was a look back at all the latest action in the National League with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it.
National League preview on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
And I guess it buzzed along, didn't it?
I liked it. I mean, I quite like the thought if he's in a nightclub every week.
Yeah.
He's just going, the AFC vital midfield.
It took me a while to realise we weren't talking to him and that it was a recorded bit.
Kidderminster Harriers really struggling near the bottom of the table. Oof.
No, but he wasn't that kind of. It wasn't that kind. He's giving a more measured report.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's just in a nightclub.
He's talking to you at the bar about National League.
Exactly. So I said to Brian,
you're on a date with John Couch. You've gone to a nightclub, and he's telling you about the National League football.
You're like, can we go to the chill out? If we're really going to get into the depths of National League North, could we go to the chill out room so I can't really focus. Anyway, do you want to hear my debut on? I don't know how it comes across. So I was on Around the Grounds. I've never been around the grounds.
With the best in the business. Forget about it.
My first ever broadcasting was a report for Cambridge City at home to Bath City. So I did that. It's 20 minutes gone. Let's go to Matt, and I was just on my phone giving an update.
Okay, that's nice. That's how you learn. If anyone's listening, out there wants to get into radio, that's a great way.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get asked to do it.
Yeah, but you can volunteer. You can say, look, can I do reports for you?
I said, I'm not doing it for anything less than £20, Jeff.
Okay.
It was a man called Jeff who paid me. And the check said artist. I was like, okay.
I like it.
Now I've arrived.
Very nice.
I'm
very
the
nice.
artist who was doing. Anyway, the artist at the Abbey yesterday was Ian Abrahams. So he was doing an update, but I was sitting literally the seat in front of him. And so this is, I think
hear it.
My prediction
Are you
is-
subtle?
No, my prediction is I sound like an oath.
Yeah,
Because I'm
a
at the
yob.
football. I'm at the football. But
You put on a slightly. If you do the chunk, give us. You give it a bit.
Funny is, do you know what's funny?
Take your H's off.
You're trying to, the winger's got the ball, but he's got nowhere to put a cross in. He gives it to the fullback, he gives it back to the winger. They're trying to fashion a good angle for the cross, and if it hasn't gone, there's always a get it in the box.
Yeah, that's me.
Like, absolutely,
That's me. Swing it in.
Anyone tries a clever pass and gives like, get rid of him. Anyway, this is. I don't think he'll come across well, so my apologies in advance. But this is me trying to be part of Around the Grounds.
Cambridge 0, Millwall 1. Jake Cooper inside 9 minutes for Millwall, who've been all over Cambridge like a rash. They've hit the bar twice, once through Lyndon Dykes and once from a corner. Sitting in front of me, by the way, is talkSPORT in inverted commas royalty Max Rushden. So I apologise for any barracking as we go through the evening. Cambridge 0, Millwall 1.
Royalty? Did he say royalty?
Sound like a.
Come on, Aid.
You sound like a yob.
I was. Look,
No, and also,
you can take the
in
man
the
out
press
of Cambridge.
box,
You can't take Cambridge out of the man.
in the press box.
Yeah.
No colours in the
I
press box.
wasn't in the press box. I was the seat in front of the press box.
Okay.
So what's your problem? I was booing.
The sort of attitude that you had at the Abbey last night.
Do you think? Because Adrian seemed, the idea of calling me royalty was a step to talkSPORT royalty.
Are you
step
talkSPORT
too
royalty?
far.
Been here a while, haven't you?
Listen, royal families are big. aren't
They are.
And I'm certainly not doing which member of the royal family. Could you take talkSPORT presenters and put them with the royal family?
Let's not do that. I don't think we should do that.
It could be fun. We'd have to read them all out, but we could. King Alan the First.
Max, can I say I've been sent... actually, my mum bought it for me, which is very nice.
Oh, thanks, Mum.
Lower Block. It's a brilliant, brilliant fanzine. And
it clears out, it helps you downstairs. It's a treatment, and your mum sent it to you. If you are, carry on.
And the copy I've been sent is about Torquay United, of course, and it is absolutely beautiful. But photographs by Marcus Davis.
Yeah,
and you can get it on lowerblock.com. I mean, and they
do
all sorts of different clubs. They're doing all sorts of different clubs. This is Torquay United between 1985 and 2005, and the photos are excellent. There's Neville Southall with Ellis Late in the changing room, of course, and brilliant photographs, and it's a brilliant,
a little nostalgic.
It is like a little trip down memory lane, and I think he does lots of different clubs. So look it up, lowerblock.com.
Do you know what that was the thing about going to the Abbey? Because I just don't go that much now, and just as you get close to that familiarity of that place, when I was younger.
What were your peak Cambridge United years?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah,
when I first started going, went from 86 onwards, but promotion, 4th division, 3rd division, 2nd division, 2 FA Cup quarter-finals.
But it's often as well the sort of place you're first allowed to go sort of on your own without your parents. You're allowed to.
Yeah, I was 5 in my first game, so I didn't.
You did
go
with
with
Dad
my dad
then. Yeah.
But just those, it's just fun. I mean, without having an existential crisis on air, this place that you just took for granted you would go to every other week. Yeah. Every single season was and now you just, because of life and it takes you in different, journeys, that you don't get to do it. And just that, wow, the amount of time I spent sitting in that seat, looking at that tree over the stand and sort of getting a bit bored at half time. And, watching all these different players come on, guys came on some kids came off their debuts, thinking them of players you have watched.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything that almost everyone listening will know that exact thing. But if you did go every single week when you were a kid and you don't now, just that sort of hit of nostalgia.
And if your football club's in your heart and it's in the same place.
Yeah.
Like Plainmoor is exactly the same place it always was. So that walk to the ground and all that.
And it's really, it's your home. It is ramshackle. And you look at the North Terrace, and I was in there for years. And when you're in there, I was like, this is like Galatasaray. And you see it. It's not even the full width of the pitch. Do you know what I mean? It's about 2/3 of the pitch. And you think, God, we were like, it was like a cacophony of noise, and there's nothing. Quite quiet. Anyway, they're doing a great job.
I love football, Max. Do you? Oh, I love football. I love going to the football.
Yeah. Anyway, It's Max and Charlie with you on talkSPORT. Charlie Baker, Royal Jester. There we are. I mean, it's not a bad chat, Ryan. Isan Khan has written a book about Arsenal's title winnings. If you didn't know, Arsenal won the league last year. He's written a book about it, and we'll talk to him about it next.
When someone writes an article that's so smart arse because it knows all the answers, right? And it writes an article about judgment. Now you've got to win, and the only way you can overcome that is by winning it. And so that's what they've got to do.
Right. So on that topic, is anything less than a title challenge failure this season?
Well, it depends what title.
A serious title to be there or thereabout.
No, but they're not good enough.
Come May.
But then, are they going to beat Arsenal? Are Arsenal ahead of them?
They're still not good enough.
No, they're not a good enough side. They can't possibly be. It's taken 7 years for Mikel Arteta and hundreds of millions of pounds spent slightly differently and wisely because he's got a mature setup with different people in the confines of Arsenal that have got a better way of operating than some of the Chelsea people have achieved so far. It's taken them 7 years. How can we decide? How can you turn on a sixpence and say you should now win the league? Oh, it's bloody stupid.
So what, they won't be in the title race come April, May?
Well, they may well be in what is considered to be a title race, which is a group of sides competing to be really in the top four that might be keeping the league honest by making it look like it's not a runaway train for one particular team. They might be in that race.
Do you think the Resk and Manchester City will be in the title race?
I hope not. I hope he gets fired. But that's a different discussion. But the bottom line is that they might be, because they're the best team in the league, which is why it's all silly about, oh, don't say that, it's not theirs to win, right? Is Arsenal.
Do you think Iraola and Liverpool will be in the title race?
No, I think Arsenal are going to win the league, and I think they're going to win it at a stroll.
So who's it between?
Arsenal and Arsenal.
Should Liverpool and City be expected to be in the title race?
Here's that. Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for two to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Receive the Premier League trophy. Martin Ødegaard steps towards his teammates, throws back his head and lifts the trophy aloft. After all of those near misses, Mikel Arteta and his players have finally delivered when it really matters. And are we on the cusp of another North London dynasty?
Yeah, we might be, given the opening weekend. But yeah, 22 years, the inside story of Arsenal's title-winning season, written by Isan Khan, who is the Daily Mail's Arsenal correspondent. And Isan joins us in the studio. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
So how does this... Have you written nothing until the final whistle? And then you're like, oh, God, I've got to just smash through this book? Or are you like 6 months before the end of the season thinking this could happen, so I'll get it all ready? Or have you written this 4 years running?
Thankfully not. It was quite traumatic, to be fair. So I collated all little bits across the season.
Yeah.
Most of the publishers, they were not convinced that this could happen because of the 3 seasons of finishing second place.
Of course, yeah.
And from their perspective, it's not done till it, as Declan said, it's not until it's actually done. The minute obviously it happened, then I put my head down for 12, 14-hour days and just completely smashed and put it together. As I said, the way I've tried to write it is, all fans have seen all the games. They know what the results are. They know what happens in the games. I've tried to add the behind-the-scenes perspective, the little bits that maybe weren't reported last season, which I've collated and been able to put together in a book. So
is that because you get more access because you are an Arsenal correspondent for the Mail, so you get a little bit more behind the scenes than you would normally?
So go home, away in Europe, obviously your 2 press conferences, 2 matches, and around that, because you're around the club so much, invariably you just pick little bits up without even looking to you. It just comes to you, and that's how I've gathered it together.
Sure. So give us like a few examples of the things that we wouldn't, because obviously we were just here going, "Oh, they're going to bottle it." No, they're not. Yeah, they are.
Like a lot of people.
Of course. But what are the things that you pick up?
Just little things like, for example, Mikel Arteta's control. We know he's an intense man, but little things. So a press conference, as a journalist, that usually for months he sat on the left-hand side of the room. One time he decided to sit on the right-hand side. As Mikel's there to address the press, he's obviously prepared to answer questions. He paused the press conference and goes, "You've just changed your seat." So just them kind of granular details.
Really? That sort of
just that's how granular Mikel Arteta is. At pre-season tour, a few of the staff were worried about eating fast food around him. Obviously, you're not going to eat fast food anyway around the Premier League manager, but they were worried in case he gave him a stern look or a little telling off. And that's the respect and control he has around Arsenal. It goes...
Sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It goes beyond the players.
It's fine if you win the league. Then you can go, well, it worked, didn't it? Everyone's a madman till they're proven right, but it worked out. So then, he can now go crazy with even more rules like that.
Exactly. And for me, it goes beyond the players. And that's how they've ended up lifting the title. It's all well and good, as I've said before, to lead the way for months and months and months. We've seen that in previous seasons. But getting over the line at the end, that's the most hardest part. And I recall a press conference ahead of the Champions League final before they go to Budapest. For the first time, the guard went down. He was actually very honest. He said at some points that he didn't know if he was good enough to win a trophy at Arsenal. Something he'd never admitted in his life before. But the burden's off him. You can see it this season already. He's a
should have said
man.
that. Should have waited till after the Champions League.
Yeah.
Feels like he's dropped his guard before the Champions League. Should have waited.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But he's just a different man
now.
That's
the winning mentality, you see.
What is that?
I'd have won the Champions League with us.
Was there a moment? I mean, it's funny. Football happened. There's so much football, and there has been so much football since this, and maybe it's really obvious. But was there a moment when you thought, okay, this is they have done it? Not obviously the final whistle when they won the title, but just a moment during the season when you were like, okay, this is happening.
I was the Sunderland game where they won, I think it was at 3-4-0, and bookmakers were paying out around February, March. I did think then, do you know what? It's looking very, very likely. But because of what happened before, I still was not totally convinced. And as we saw the twists and turns along the way, for me, it was the West Ham game where the VAR madness at the end. That, for me, when that happened, I thought the omens are just lined up here. This is going to be their season. Obviously, David Raya, I think he was at Fernandez save earlier in the game. Anyway, that game for me, that was done then.
Was there anything that happened with players or anything that wasn't released to the general public and to the fans until after the event? Was anybody injured that it wasn't sort of announced that you knew was, and that was in this book?
Well, some details in the book are about the injury mind game. So we'd obviously go into the press conferences, we'd press Arteta on the hamstrings, the ankles, and obviously the stock answers, as I was saying there, would be, we've got another training session, or we'll have to wait and see, and he'd give that nice grin, turn to the room, and obviously completely bat the questions away. And a source, I think it was a William Saliba December-January game, Arteta says, no, he's not in contention, or he's pretty much out. I get told an hour or so later, no, he's actually going to play. So there were them kind of mind games that you'd have to navigate as a reporter, which are quite difficult, but you can understand why he was trying to do it. For him, team news leaking out or injury news was the be all end all. Right?
Yeah. Was it Arsenal who had a mole? I'm trying to remember. It's a difficult part of your job where you want to have contacts within the club.
Yeah.
You've got to you want to report honestly about whether they played well or badly or whatever, but also keep the club on side. It's sort of a tricky balance for if you are a correspondent for a particular club, for a particular paper.
It is a very tricky balance. And obviously when you do ask certain questions, or if you have wrote something quite negative or something that they may perceive as unfair, you do feel it when you go to the room the next press conference, the next match, that there is that kind of tension in a way. But it's part and parcel of the job as a journalist. You've got to write and ask the questions that the fans at the end of the day want to hear and see. So it's part and parcel.
And are they a good club to deal with? Because obviously, I don't know how much access you get to players, and when you get to players, I quite often find when you get access to a player, it's actually they're never going to tell you anything, and you're not wasting your time, because them talking, people care about what they say regardless of what it is. But genuinely, they're not going to tell you anything, and you're sort of not going to get anything, even if you have to put an article out or put an interview out here.
Yeah. So with the players, access like all Premier League clubs is so hard to get, and when you do get it, it is obviously very, very controlled, which is why I've tried to use a bit of the tidbits and behind the scenes elements to illustrate the season in the book. 'Cause if it's just on player quotes, it's all going to be very in a certain direction, isn't it?
And if are you writing 23 years, good start, Community Shield winners, and great start on Friday night, wasn't it?
No, but it'll be 12 months next year, hopefully.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because that's the top.
That's how long a year is.
Just worked out.
Yeah. Of course.
Are you writing an inside story now? Because I think they're going to win the league. We've called it every game of dead rubber, basically, more or less.
Really, dead rubber.
Dead rubber. That's what we're saying.
Because Arsenal won the league. That's it.
That's it. They've won the league Friday night.
Just do the season.
But look what happened last season. Liverpool, everyone pretty much thought they'd run away with the league, and look what happened with them.
Yeah.
Obviously different now because of the psychological burden's not on Arsenal.
Yeah.
But still, there's that pressure. People expect them to, as you two are saying now, to go ahead and run away with the league. So that's different pressure in itself.
Yeah. You had different pressure because you went on to Sky Sports and you had a clip go viral.
Yes, I did.
Because people questioned your haircut.
They did indeed.
For people watching on YouTube.
Yes.
It's a half buzz cut, half.
It's like it's a half and half scarf
of hair.
Of hair. But I think you look great. Don't listen to the haters, is what I say. But it's good for the books. It went viral.
Absolutely. 10 million views. I absolutely take that.
Exactly.
Hopefully it boosts the sales a bit.
Exactly. What did you go in the barbershop and ask for?
That's between me and the barber.
He's got to keep the barber on side.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. You've got to protect.
I've got to
protect your sources.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, good luck with the book. Obviously, it's a good idea because if your side wins the league, you want to relive it in every way you possibly can. And so lots of Arsenal fans will get a lot of love out of this. 22 years, Ihsan Khan. The inside story of Arsenal's title-winning season. Good luck with the book. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Good man, Ihsan. It is Max and Charlie. Matthew says, really, I had no idea Arsenal won the league last season. Why hasn't no one on talkSPORT mentioned it? What do you want us to do, Matthew? I mean, sort of have to cover it, really, don't we? It's Max and Charlie with you until 4.
Michael, where are you with Isak at this moment? I just think that particular penalty, Szoboszlai was always taking it, and likes of Isak had far more to lose than he had to gain by taking that penalty. But where are you with Isak at this moment in time? And he looks to me, he obviously had big injury problems and all that stuff. The move was well documented. Newcastle fans are unhappy. What's it going to take for him to get playing with a regular confidence and show the ability that we know he has?
Well, I'm not sure about you, Ali, but I had plenty of injuries in my career, so I know how hard it is to get back, and you do need a bit of time. And everybody's given him time and understood that, but then he's sort of finished the season, then he's gone to the World Cup, and now he's had a pre-season, and you just think, okay, now we're starting to run out of excuses. We need to start seeing the real Isak, and we know how good he is. I mean, wow, we saw him for Newcastle. I mean, he's absolute class. But we haven't seen it for Liverpool just yet, and I think questions will come now. As I say, always give him the benefit of the doubt in the past with Liverpool. But at the start of this season now, we're expecting, and Liverpool absolutely need him. They've lost Salah, Ekitike's out. There's not that many options in attacking areas. They absolutely need him to be on top form. Yesterday, he was far from it. I thought he was at...
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like $5,000, $10,000 for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
You say price drop, I say price. Anyway,
up to you.
I'm sure it'll make clips of the week.
Reading out loud is hard.
It is hard, isn't it? You're listening to Rushden and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Get all your lighting essentials in one place. First stop, Toolstation. For some of us, it's achievable.
There we are.
But saying price crap is also funny.
As also funny.
There we go.
To say it.
We come and think up good ideas, and then Amelia just takes it away, steals our thunder with a great punchline. I was looking at Pierre Sarge on TV and thinking, I think he looks like Barry Glendale.
Pierre Sarge.
Pierre Sarge.
You're only allowed to spend so much on him of an evening.
It's called Sarge. Yes, Sarge, Sergeant Major. What are we doing now? A bit of Everton.
Yes, please.
Everton boss David Moyes has been speaking to the media ahead of the game against Preston, the David Moyes derby in the Carabao Cup. Had a back and forth with one reporter who asked him a question he's heard too many times before.
Pretty straightforward question, David. Just how important are the cups to you this season?
Well, I just said, I think it's a question every journalist asks every manager. And in some ways I think, are those journalists dead stupid? Do you think none of the managers want to win the cups? Of course we all want to win the cups. So the answer to yes, the cups are hugely important. Would it be more important than staying in the Premier League? If I asked you that question, is winning a cup more important than staying in the Premier League?
No.
What would your answer be?
I'd say staying in the Premier League for the minute.
So there you go. You've half answered it. So, but of course we want to do well in the cup. I can't think of any manager who wouldn't want to run a good run in the cup.
Don't like it. I think there's a power imbalance there.
I feel like he scaled it back though. He went in on it, and then he realised the person he was speaking to sounded about 50.
Yeah, he should have said the reporter should have said, "Well, why have you only ever won one cup then? If you care so much." It was a bit chippy, I thought. But anyway, let's talk to comedian Everton fan Sam Avery. Hey, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, nice to speak to talkSPORT royalty.
Very kind of you, Sam. Your manager's not very nice. What's happened?
No, He's just a bit of a grumpy git, isn't he? And he always has been. And I think that comment was really, it was dead weird, wasn't it? Because also that interview, for full context for everyone, came after we just beaten Crystal Palace in the opening day of the season on Saturday. So everyone's like feeling positive, feeling optimistic after the bad end of last season. And he's like, throwing relegation in. We've not really flirted with it for a couple of years now. And it's like, David Moyes is like, you'd be at a wedding with him and he'd be like, well, statistically, 2 out of 3 marriages end in divorce. Don't they? So, it's like, well, why are you mentioning that? Why are you bringing up the
I suppose
the R word when we're all feeling good? I
suppose the question comes from the fact that, you haven't won anything in a very, very, very long time. And I think the person was asking, can we try and win something?
Or are you going to play a strong team?
Yeah.
David. I mean, sorry to interrupt your question, but those things are so pointless. Press conferences are so pointless. You can't ask anything interesting, can you? What can you possibly ask that David Moyes hasn't heard before about beating Crystal Palace 2-0 or a Carabao Cup game?
Yeah, and also I think David Moyes, and I'm not singling David Moyes out because quite a few managers have done this at Everton and other clubs, but it's almost like they try and tell you how difficult their job is so that when they do it, they look like the bee's knees. And actually, to keep Everton up is not even something we're even talking about now.
Yeah.
I think with 5 games left last season, we were there was an outside chance of the Champions League. So really, we should be, trying to put a cup in together. What couldn't we do both? Couldn't we stay up and just try and get to round 5 of the EFL Cup? Is that not a possibility?
The dream.
There's a massive disconnect between what there was. The CEO of Everton, Angus Kinnear, did a lot of interviews last week with various outlets, and there's a massive disconnect from what he said versus that little snippet of David Moyes, because he was talking about Europe, he was talking about looking up. David Moyes is like, yeah, but we're all going to die one day, aren't we? So
I like it as a vibe. I don't mind. I quite like that in my.
It's like when you think about the universe,
does any of it mean anything?
Really matter,
everything's pointless, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you boil it down to that, and we're all going to end up as dust. But let's try and win the League Cup because we've never won it. So
is Dewsbury all fit for Saturday? Well, who cares?
Who cares?
200 years time, who's going to remember?
Are any of us actually fit? Are any of us ever actually fit?
What does fit even mean? You're right. What does it all mean, David? I don't know. I mean, look. It was a positive start for you guys, wasn't it? Lovely. Palace could have been ahead. There's no doubt about that. I thought Dewsbury Hall's goal was absolutely brilliant. Some really good performances in centre mid. Great start. Who knows where the season will go, but you must be happy.
I think he's gone.
He realised
he's breaking up anyway, isn't it?
He realised the futility of life.
He did.
He thought
that was it.
We have, like they say, an Instagram reel will say in 100 years, no one will remember your name. In 200 years, no one will. There'll be you may be a photo on a wall. Maybe I will be on here
one day.
Never know. I've just about got the photo, so hopefully it's still ever 200 years. In 300 years, you'll be no one will think about you ever. So Sam thought about all of this in that one moment and then thought, why am I wasting 5 minutes talking about what David Moyes said to someone like a 15-year-old about the Carabao Cup? I need to live my life. I live to live for the moment.
Exactly.
It should be a message to all the listeners. What are you doing with your life? Why are you listening to this? Why are you listening?
Why are you even listening to talkSPORT? Let alone what am I even doing on TalkSPORT?
We will all be dust. There must be something better. There must be. Whatever you think, whatever you're doing, I'm trying to fill now, but you take the point I was making.
I do. Yeah. Do you, is he coming back to us? Do you think, Sam?
At some point, he'll be back.
Would you want to be a Everton fan, Max?
You did this on Saturday.
I know, but I'm just asking you. I'm not having a go at Everton. I'm just like, you got. I get that reporter's question because it's like, well, we've got to try and do something at some point.
I wouldn't want to be an Everton fan because I'm not an Everton fan. But if I had been an Everton fan, I'd have a lovely time.
Well, I'd love to be an Everton. I think brilliant club support.
Yeah.
We went to Goodison, absolutely loved it.
You changed your tune from Saturday.
No. If it was your thing, but you got to have something happen to your football club, or maybe you're not meant to. Maybe you're meant to just go along and it happen in front of you.
Listen, I've written about this before. How many teams are there? Like, there's 92 in the top divisions in the National League.
Well, there's how many? Probably 60.
Fine. And, like proper supported teams in England.
Yeah.
In England. 120, I don't know. How many of them win something?
Well, exactly.
Get promoted.
Not everyone can win.
Four
but you
teams
can
win something.
Things can happen. You can have you can have a narrative.
I don't know who's running it, and we're part of it. It's all a racket. None of us should be following this. It's not a path to happiness. It isn't. You say Sam is back? Sam, we've been discussing an existential crisis, and maybe that you just decided you'd realise that we're all going to be dust. So you'd think, well, why am I talking to these idiots?
I want to ask Sam.
What's the point in anything?
Exactly.
No, I'm sat in my car, my phone overheated, and I feel like every time I come on your show, I'm like that. We used that vicar from Father Ted. Every time he phones him, he's up to some kind of weird
you are in a car
activity.
Yeah, where are you sat?
But I don't know what you were talking about, but can I just make a point about something else that David Moyes said? And I don't want to pick at him too much because I do like David Moyes and he's done great stuff for our club. But we need a right back. We need a right back, and we've needed one for years. And there's a stat on social media about the last right back that we signed was Phil Neville. And actually, we signed Phil Neville as a centre mid.
Wow,
right.
He just played it right back. But David Moyes said the other day, he said, right backs, they're not that easy to find. It's like they're an endangered species. Like pandas, like London Zoo. They're trying to make a couple of right backs.
Attenborough's there going, and we walk through, and then we see the endangered Seamus Coleman and Tony Hibbert.
Yeah,
they're out to pasture, and there are no more where they came from.
Yeah. The last of a dying breed. So I think if we get a right back in, I think we've got a decent team because the midfield looks good. Barry's, his pre-season's been good and he scored on Saturday. So I feel quite optimistic.
Yeah. Do you look at Spurs and all the money they've spent this summer because they've had a new stadium for a few years and think, that might be us in a couple of years' time because of the move? How is the Hill Dickinson Stadium working out, Sam?
I mean, it's fantastic. There's a few teething problems. I'm not sure how many sort of concerts we can have versus how many Tottenham have, and obviously they're in London, we're not. But It's a great stadium, and it's been used for lots of other sporting events. Rugby league, rugby union. There's always extra stuff going on. It's a fantastic stadium. I think it does do me head in a little bit because the transport around it is still it needs sorting. There's a lot of stuff. And I think it means people leave early, and it's dead annoying. So on the first day, on Saturday, we're 2-0 up against Palace. There's 5 minutes to go, and people start leaving. And by the end, I was looking at the ground thinking, it feels like we're 6-0 down and everyone's just gone home. But we're not. We're winning. You want to clap the team off. So, but it's a fantastic stadium. I don't know how much money Spurs, Champions League money as well, has helped them.
Of course,
from that little foray they had. But I mean, I do feel optimistic for the future, which is very unusual.
And considering how it all ends,
we all end up ashes to ashes. Dust
I'd
to
like
dust.
Everton to have a good time. Do you think? I've mentioned this before, but do you think Andy Burnham might beat Michael McIntyre and Noel Gallagher for celebrity cutaways this season?
I mean, it's starting to get on my nerves a little bit, and I'm an Everton fan. It's getting on my nerves, but at the lack of kind of other celebrity fans that we don't have. I mean, we keep clinging on to Sylvester Stallone, but I mean, he was there for one game, drinking Bovril in the old Goodison main stand. So I mean, but he's been going to game for years. He's had a season ticket for years, so he's a genuine fan. But yeah, I mean, he is going to sort of take a lot of the shine away from.
If he's next to Reedy, if he's hugging Peter Reid, it's fine. Yeah. I think it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine, isn't it? I mean, even he was saying we need to sign a right back. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for.
He's just done one of those videos actually that he does.
Top 5 right backs.
Top 5 right backs.
Hey, look, Sam, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sam Avery there, comedian, Everton fan.
Stallone having a Bovril. Can you imagine that?
They should do that. I wouldn't mind that. Because celebrity cutaways, who cares, right? If they cut away to old ones, so every time you're watching Everton, it just cut back away to Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Roll the clip, and it was
they were here once.
Lie there,
yeah, that'd be nice.
Drinking Bovril,
yeah, I'd like
and then
that.
It cut back to the present day. I would be happy with.
Very nice indeed.
Anyway,
wasn't he nice? Wasn't he funny, Sam?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
What a nice guy.
Go and watch him do his comedy.
Yeah, I think he's having a little break from it at the moment, but he's going to go back to it, I'm sure.
And why not? We'll just follow him.
Twins, man.
Just follow him.
He's got twins.
Oh, mate.
Imagine that.
See, Madison's got 2 sets of twins.
2 sets of twins.
Yeah.
He's got 5 kids under 4.
Oh, my God. So when he's on the pitch, he's literally just having a break. That is him having a break.
He's like, can I play? I want to play every minute.
The other Spurs players have got no excuse, but he has an excuse. He's just having a break. He's like, honestly, I've just been on my hands and knees clearing up rice from the floor.
Well, you know, James Maddison first at the training ground, last to leave. cleans up the dressing room.
Do you mind if I just sleep? It is Max and Charlie with you until 4. Robbie Earnshaw, come on, we'll do some Nottingham Forest.
All right, Gabs?
Gabby! Jamie, what you on about,
the
mate?
Villa. You're just jealous, mate. I've been hearing you all day.
What are you on about?
You're talking guff, mate. Just because you're jealous.
What are you on about?
You're jealous.
How can you finish 17 2 years in a row and spend half a bill?
Because we've got the cash, Gabs.
Yeah, but that ain't fair, mate.
See? Jealous.
It ain't fair, Cundy.
No, I agree. Do you know what? I agree with Gabby on this. I totally agree with him.
No.
This has got no.
Win the Europa League,
I'm not picking.
and we can't flipping spend.
I'm not picking sides. I'm telling you now. Villa and Newcastle should be able to spend.
Cry me a river.
No, 100.
Cry me a river.
Jay, listen.
Thank you, Cundy.
I totally agree with him.
Gabs?
Totally agree with him.
Stop crying, mate.
Jamie.
Stop crying,
Totally
mate.
agree with him.
Stop crying.
Jamie.
Gabs.
You're signing rejects from Manchester City.
Good
Marmoush
players,
is
mate.
unwanted. Savino's a reject. Robertson's a reject from Liverpool, not wanted anymore. Conor Gallagher's a reject from Atletico Madrid. Spurs are signing rejects.
Hold on a minute. You sold 5 of your best players. All right, you're absolute guff this season. Oh, the rules! Oh, the rules! I thought you was a big club. I thought you was a big club.
Well, we are a big club, but the
you're
rules
not, though.
don't let us.
You're not, though.
Because you
Can't
and
spend
your
any money.
cartel, top 6, you and Cundy, don't want Villa in there.
Don't bring me into this. I've got nothing to do with this, Gabby.
Mate, keep you out of it. Only big boys allowed in the top 6, mate. You're not big. You have to sell your best players. We don't have to sell our best players.
Here's that. Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. Thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
It's helped on again, flicked on towards the far post, and they bundled it in. Yes, they have. They double their lead. 2-0 the score. I think it's James Justin that is taking the acclaim. Nottingham Forest beaten in the League Cup again. And a few isolated boos from the home faithful here on Trentside.
Birmingham 1, Brentford 6. This isn't men against boys, it's men against amoebas.
Nunes has gone for the long shot, and he has scored. Well, that has to be easily 45 yards from goal.
Absolute magic from Nunes, honestly. Ipswich 3, Leicester 1.
And the home fans are leaving in their droves. Southampton 1, West Ham 4. Jarrod Bowen scored in the last round. He's done it again here.
Watford 1, Peterborough United 5. An outstanding Peterborough display, abundant in attacking quality. You'd have been forgiven for thinking they were the championship side.
That Ipswich goal from just not quite halfway, absolutely brilliant. Off the bar and in as
fabulous.
well. Nick says, my wife and kids are in Drayton Manor theme park, making the most of their short time on this planet. I've had to retreat back to the car as my back has gone. Keep it going, guys. You're keeping me sane. Only another 3 hours to go. Good luck to you, Nick. Now let's talk to former Nottingham Forest striker Robert Earnshaw after Forest lost to Leeds again. They have to play them twice a week now for the whole season. Hey, Robbie, how are you?
Hey, Robbie.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm very good, thank you.
Yeah, always
I'm doing
nice.
well.
Always nice to chat. Wherever you were last night, were you booing Oliver Glasner, Robert?
I was actually pitchside. I was at the game working in the, with the media in the game, so I was analyzing the game. But no, of course, not booing, but a little bit disappointed. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, just do you know what? It felt like they almost run out of steam, especially second half. You know, because first of all, you played them a few days before, there was energy, and it was a good game. You lose 1-0, okay, good free kick, maybe defendable. But then a few days later, lots of changes. I think Leeds made 6 and Forest 5, so you're gonna have lots of changes. But it felt like Forest were gonna go into the second half and create more chances. But I've got to say, Trafford was very good, a couple of really good saves. And then the other side, I thought Leeds just went up a level and then they just punished Forest. Game over, especially with Dan James on the right-hand side.
He was slow to get going for Palace, Oliver Glasner. He only won 1 in 5 of his first 5 games. So obviously, you know, he's got to get his ideas and his thoughts across to a squad that, you know, I know he's had for a pre-season, but it still takes a lot of time, doesn't it, Robert?
Yeah, do you know what? It is the 5th manager in the last year. It is a lot of tactics, a lot of changes. But I tell you what was interesting. I think the players were really trying to find what the new tactics are, because he plays with the 3 at the back, 3 centre backs, and then with the wing backs. And they conceded from the wing backs. But I think it's going to take about a couple of months to really get used to it, because Aina and Nico Williams on both sides, they've been excellent in the last 2 years, have been fullbacks. Now they're wing backs. So it's very, very different. And they got punished last night, but I can see them in the next couple of months, that 3 at the back and the wing backs really becoming something. I think they could be dangerous. It just, playing Leeds, the first 2 games, I thought they were exposed, to be honest. They were exposed, and it's very new, very fresh, different tactics, different... you can see they're trying to play, but it was very much different tactics and bedding in. And I thought they got exposed, and especially when Leeds went up a level, I thought they punished them. And that's where Forest didn't have anything, didn't have an answer. That was a little bit worrying that they didn't have an answer and they dropped off in the second half. But that might also be quite a few players just almost coming back from pre-season, and some have only been in the door a couple of weeks. So it might be that. I hope it's that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, it's overblown. Someone hears a few boos and then that becomes reported as boos, and then I didn't hear it or see it. So, like, was it a huge part of the stadium or just a bit of frustration at the end of a football match?
It was probably, I would probably say 1,000 people. Right. Now it sounds louder, and I think they were booing just more because they were disappointed that they lost to the same team twice in a few days. I think it was more that. But I know the Forest fans. The Forest fans, they'll give you time, and they'll. I think with Oliver Glasner, I think they like him. I think they like what what he did at Crystal Palace. He did an amazing job at Crystal Palace, and he's been successful before. So, but Forest fans will back him. Next game, I bet you they'll be there cheering and wanting the team to do well. So it was more frustration than boos and it's the end of the world.
One you gone out. Talk of Liam Delap coming in, good young striker. You know, similar profile to Awoniyi, a big guy. Do you fancy him, Robert?
Do you know what? I really liked him at Ipswich, and I'm so glad that he got his big move to Chelsea. It's not worked out. This is going to be his biggest test now, is how have you handled that? Can you bounce back? Can you learn from it and go again and start scoring goals? Because he did do well at Ipswich. Now, the fee is huge. The problem he has is Chris Wood has scored goals, maybe a little bit older now, but he's reliable. Igor Jesus, I really like him. And I thought he was really good last night. And technically, he's very sound. He can score goals. He scored loads of goals in Europe last year. So he's a very good striker. The problem, Liam Delap, is whatever fee that he comes in with, and he's coming in to try and play, trying to resurrect his career a little bit and be in form again, because he only scored 2 goals last year. Now he's not guaranteed to play. Not for me, because Jesus and Chris Wood, I've got very similar, a lot of similarities. It's now about who can handle putting on the shirt for Forest and delivering and scoring goals. And I think that's going to be the real difference, because I think Oliver Glasner is going to have 3 really good strikers, actually, that he can rely on. But it's just going to be about who scores the goals and then who gets the shirt, because right now, probably Igor Jesus beats the other 2. And, we'll see. But yeah, I think it's going to be a real battle for that, who plays up front, because I would imagine he'll probably be 1 striker up top, and the likes of you probably like 2 number 10s, and obviously the wing back. So it's going to be it's not guaranteed who starts. That's going to be the Liam Delap's problem. But listen, I wish him well, because I think it's a great football club that he'll come into.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ipswich, I thought he was really exciting, and it works at some clubs, and it doesn't mean you're not good if it doesn't work at another one. Look, you've got Liverpool, the early kickoff live on talkSPORT. Liverpool away on Saturday. Look, after that, you do have Spurs and Villa, so that's at least 6 points. So that's good. That's good news for you. But Liverpool is Liverpool. Sometimes you wouldn't expect Forest to win at Liverpool. Did they do that last season? Maybe they did. I think
they did.
They did. Yeah.
I'll tell you. So I do a few games for Forest as obviously a former player, and I was at the Liverpool game. So I went in and sat with the fans. And before kickoff, we were there, and it's obviously kickoff goes, and I turned to one of the fans. I said, "What do you think?" And everybody was nervous. And then all of a sudden, go into the first half, then they go 1-0 up, and they're still nervous. And then all of a sudden, I think it ended up being 3-0. And you just felt absolute silence at Anfield. And it was an absolute shock. But I was sat in with the fans last year. But that was it. That was a great fun, a lot of fun. But they did it. They beat them at Anfield. And I believe Forest are the team that's beaten Liverpool the most in the last couple of years. At Anfield. So there you go.
There you go. Could happen again, couldn't it? Thanks for coming on. Always nice to talk to you, Robert.
Pleasure.
Robert Earnshaw there, former Nottingham Forest striker. A man, of course, who stopped in a lay-by when Mrs. Earnshaw was in labour to talk to us.
In many ways, we are the uncles of that child.
Yeah. The surrogate father. The 3 of us are fathers. Robert, you.
That's what it is.
And I think his daughter is called Max Charlie Earnshaw.
I like it.
Yeah. And they are... they're not gender-specific names,
no,
so it's fine.
Is
it Charlie Max or Max Charlie?
You said Max Charlie. So,
I did.
It says more about you.
That's the pecking order of the show.
It is.
I can't help it.
It is.
I'm in the hard chair.
Big chair, easy
I'm
chair.
in the hard chair.
It's just how it is.
I miss those easy chair days when Paul would do all the hard work. And I just say, I've seen a giant marrow in the Daily Star.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Same fee. Absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Max and Charlie with you until 4. I don't know what we're doing next, but it's going to be good.
They were set a target by Celtic. That win should have been enough. And I know personally my football club has lost a 4-goal lead in the first leg before. So it can happen, and you really build yourself up. If you think you can do it, you get yourself there. And Lask have obviously had those meetings, done that work, done those trainings, and they've got themselves a victory in the tie and gone through. I think what this says about Scottish football is really important. And let's face some facts here. Celtic are below the New Saints of Wales, Shelbourne of Ireland. They're behind La Fiorita of San Marino in the rankings in Europe. The Austrian League is ranked below the Scottish League, and yet Lask have just beaten Celtic. And Lask have got no real European pedigree or history of success. So how has this happened? I think you've just got to go back to the end of last season. Scottish football is eating itself. Every season it happens, and last season it happened worse than ever. Hearts showed some smart thinking, some common sense to build, to do something a bit special, to do something unheard of. And what happened was Celtic panicked, took a huge step backwards by appointing Martin O'Neill, no disrespect. And yes, they won the title, they won the cup and all that, but at what cost? At what cost? I look at Rangers took the Hearts captain and top scorer Shankland. They're wasting his talent at Ibrox. Rangers have had a European mayor. Hearts collapsed out of the Champions League before the end of July. Celtic an embarrassment. I think the clubs in Scotland need to take more responsibility, work together to save the future of Scottish football, to save themselves and the Scottish national team as well.
Oh, it's me, isn't it? Sorry. My wife just needed my PIN number because she's...
Can I give it to her on air? Or?
Yeah, I can, actually. You're listening, love.
You want to guess Mac's PIN number? That's what we'll do for the two-word phone-in.
I'll tell you what, if the first text gets it right, it is the PIN number. Not that I use it for more than one card, if someone's trying to hack my identity. But yeah, if the first person gets it right, it's 8:1089. Of course it is. It's Max and Charlie with you until 4. Two-word phone. We've got a big debate about what the two-word phone is going to be, but we'll have that in the news and we'll deliver a great two-worder for you. I've talked too long again, Fletch, haven't I? Yeah. He's not finding that funny at all. It's like, okay, well, there we go. Sports headlines. Here's Fletch.
talkSPORT Sports Update with NordVPN. Avoid scams, phishing and malware with our most advanced VPN. Now with built-in next-gen antivirus.
You know how seriously I take this, Max. UEFA are expected to drop their boycott of FIFA competitions when the Executive Committee meets in Monaco tomorrow. talkSPORT's senior football correspondent Ben Jacobs says 2 required conditions have now been met.
The first was for FIFA to withdraw their controversial privatisation plans known as FIFA Forward Enterprise, and the second was assurances that such a venture would never be reignited in the future.
UEFA are set to continue to push for the replacement of Gianni Infantino as FIFA president. Next, Chelsea are considering a move for Villa goalkeeper Emi Martinez late on in the summer window. The Argentina number one's been offered to the Blues following the arrival of Zion Suzuki at Villa Park. The Blues are back to challenge for the title this season, but winning it will be one step too far. That according to former Blue Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who says it would be too big a leap year on year.
If you finish 10th, there must have been significant stuff wrong, right? And that is...
Well, yeah, the manager left halfway through.
It's not... Yeah, but there must be other things.
This, as Xabi Alonso has just confirmed Enzo Fernandez will be in the squad to face Luton tomorrow. Elsewhere, City have made Ayoub Buadi the most expensive teenager in Premier League history. Omar Mamouche is having his Spurs medical today, so too Nico Gonzalez, who's believed to be undergoing a check-up up in Newcastle. And Palace have brought Axel Disasi to Selhurst on a loan deal till the end of the season. Plenty more on the live transfer blog at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A murder investigation has been launched after 2 people died in a house fire near Middlesbrough, and Meta has agreed to settle its social media case. More from Amelia at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Warm and humid for many of us this afternoon. Thunderstorms pushing north.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Betfair. Everyone's got an opinion. Back yours at Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Do you want to do that two-worder?
I like the two.
You're going to launch it?
Which one? I like your one.
Mine's more sensible.
I like your one. My one's very silly. So I think we should do your one.
What do you think?
Looking at the producer.
You like the cricket one? Okay.
That's the cricket one. How many pints did you have last night? And could you open the batting for England?
So at
the next test.
Okay, I can do it. 2.5, maybe. 03717 22 33 44. How many pints did you have last night? Could you open the batting for England? 03717 223344. 2 words or never call again.
Or do we want 2 numbers? Do we want how many pints did you have last night and how many do you think you'd get opening the batting for England?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
two numbers.
2 numbers.
2 numbers.
That's fine. Yes. How many pints did you have last night?
So 2.5 and 12?
2.5, 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, against Pakistan. I just don't think I've got what it takes, to be perfectly honest. 03717 223344. Time now to get the latest odds with Sam Rosbottom from our friends and official betting partner, Betfair. Hey, Sam. Oh, I'm emotional about this.
Just loves Betfair so much.
Hey, Sam, you okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Emotional as well. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Not quite as emotional as those Celtic fans, though.
Oh, dear. Poor them.
Oh, sad for them, eh?
Did you have... I don't suppose you've got it in front of you. What were the odds for them to lose when they were 4-0 up?
Well, I'm glad you've asked me because, yes, I do have those
good
odds in
news.
front of me. When they were 4-0 up on aggregate, they had a 98% chance of qualifying. They were backed at 1-66, which is... look, off the top of my head, I can't remember a big an upset when it comes to a turnaround with the odds as big as that.
Whatever.
Given the circumstances. No, not. I wouldn't say ever. I mean, if we're thinking about some of the big Champions League comebacks, there's some that are definitely up there. But I think given that the game, the tie was put to bed, wasn't it? Like the goals though that were scored were unbelievable. It just felt that the way Celtic sort of gave them a way back into it, really.
It's funny, just sometimes games just have momentum and there's just nothing you can do. Just nothing you can sort of think if they're just 2 up. It just is, it feels something bizarre about those games where you've got such a big lead and then you just see it happening and we can all see it a mile off and you just think, absolute agony. Also, look, there's lots of Carabao Cup football tonight. Bit of pressure on De Zerbi after that hopeless game against Brentford. They've got Charlton, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. Look, we've got a few Premier League teams in action tonight, all of them as you'd expect. Odds on and fancied to win their matches, but we have got an odds boost on Spurs, Newcastle and Everton all to win in 90 minutes. That's around 6-4. Looking at the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you mentioned the pressure on De Zerbi. They're as short as 2-11 to get the game done in 90 minutes. They have won each of their last 5 games against Charlton across all competitions. They've scored 16 goals as well in the process. Maybe we'll see some more goals. Much needed for Spurs tonight. Charlton, though, they did get a good result, didn't they, against West Ham at the weekend? Could they do the same again and go away to a London rival and get the win? 10-1 in 90 minutes. Charlton are the draw in that one, 11-2. Looking at Newcastle's game, keeping with the Premier League sides, 1-3 they are. They've lost just 1 of their last 6 against West Brom, so pretty good record there. West Brom 13-2. They could get a good win on Sunday against Burnley, but this one looks a little bit tough for them. They're drawing that one 4-1. And David Moyes back at his old stomping ground. Preston v Everton. Preston really haven't started the season well, have they? 5-1 for an upset there in that game. They have reached at least the 3rd round in 7 of their last 11 League Cup campaigns, though, so it's not out of the realms of possibility. Everton, you can back them at around 1-2 to get the job done, though. Really fancied Everton in this one. The draw 100-30.
Good stuff, Sam. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers, guys.
For all the latest offers, go to betfair.com, 18+, gambleaware.org.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Betfair. Everyone's got an opinion. Back yours at Betfair. 18+, gambleaware.org.
What's the best goal, Andy?
Josimar.
Oh, lovely. Just one word needed.
Canio!
Ian is a Man City fan. What's the best year, Ian?
2012, Aguero!
Oh, never call again. Too many words. Don't use your phone again. Michael, throw your SIM card out of your phone. Throw it out the window. Drive over
Burn your phone. Burn it.
Michael's a Preston fan. What's the best goal?
Poppycock.
What a great phone in.
Phone in.
2-word phone in 03717 223344. How many pints did you have last night, and how many runs would you get if you opened the batting for England? John, the decorator in Warrington, says 2.5 is 4 words. What are you even doing on talkSPORT? It's a very good point.
When it's numbers, it counts as 1.
Okay, fine. Martin's an Arsenal fan. How many pints did you have last night? How many runs are you going to get for England?
0 and 0.
Thank you, Martin.
Very nice.
Damien's a Manchester United fan. How many pints did you have last night, and how many runs are you going to get for England?
1, 36.
Ooh, nice, not a good knock.
Well done. He's really, you know what, he's seen off the
Got
new
himself
ball.
in, yeah.
It's good news for Joe Root. Ollie's a West Brom fan. How many pints did you have last night? How many runs are you getting for England?
137.
I mean, look, it's bold. It's bold.
5 pints in and he's still at the crease.
A bit dusty after the third hour. Kevin's a Liverpool fan. How many pints and how many runs?
4, duck.
I think that was the most honest one.
Simon's a West Ham fan. How many pints, how many runs?
12 and I reckon 74.
Nice, 74, nice knock.
But there was, and I reckon.
Oh, never call again.
Never call again.
Never call again.
Is that it? Is that everyone?
That's everyone.
Oh, Patrick's a Villa fan. Of course he is.
okay,
Patrick's a Villa fan. How many pints, how many runs? Here we go, Patrick.
74, 75.
Great phone in.
Very nice.
The phone in. Use your phone. Ring the phone. It's the telephone. Time for a phone call. Ring, ring, ring. Hyperbole. Intrigue. 2 words. Thoughts. Consideration. It's your time to shine. People saying their thing. Get on with it. You on the radio. Imagine that.
Here we are. It's more popular than I thought, to be honest. I thought we'd
really
struggle
enjoyed
there.
it. For Duck.
That was good, yeah, that was good.
Jason has guessed, I presume, my PIN number, 6969. Incorrect, Jason.
Okay. 8008.
Is it
childish?
Is it 8008?
88885. You ever type that on a calculator, Max? Did you?
No.
It was different time. You were allowed to then.
No. I'd always write hello. You do dot and then 4 1 1 3 4.
Yeah, I'd do.
No.
Shell oil. I could do.
Could you?
Shell oil. I could do 5 4 3. 1 1 0 1 7. Shell oil. It's always a good
Very
one to
impressive,
do, isn't it?
But you know, if you're not doing boobless,
If you're not doing boobless, what are you even doing on Talk Calculator? There must be.
I think it's a short-lived radio station, Talk Calculator. I think once you've done
the scientific calculator hour.
Once you've done that, you'd have to bring something else in, wouldn't
Well, watch calculator.
All right.
Did you ever have one of those rulers with a calculator on? Solar-powered ruler with a calculator.
Yeah. Who didn't have a 30 centimetre? I never had a Helix with a calculator. I had a Shatterproof.
Well, yeah.
None of these are euphemisms.
Roland the Shatterproof. We've done that before.
Roland the Shatterproof.
We've done
calculator footballers.
Calculator footballers. Finally, we got there.
Is that what you're saying?
Finally, we got there.
I'm stuck on Casio.
Casio Sado. Moises Casio Sado.
Yes, also works for footballing keyboards as well, doesn't it? But we won't.
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow for Paul and Andy. They'll be delighted.
Calculator footballers, please.
Go on then. Matthew says, anyone else said they had 74 pints last night, I wouldn't believe them. But as it's Patrick the Villa fan, I have no trouble believing
actually.
it. There we go. But not glamorising, boozing, of course.
Yes.
It was
drink responsibly.
A satirical look at all the England team, every single centrally contracted player ending up being arrested, which just sort of seems like a baffling coincidence, isn't it? It's hard to just go, lads. Just look, one thing.
Wind it in a bit.
There's no curfew, but if none of you could get absolutely wasted and get arrested tonight, that would really. If you're all on board with that, you all on board with that.
Want to play for England?
Yeah,
there we are.
Because I think footballers do. Me calculator Arteta.
Very nice.
Really nice.
Boobs Firmino. Nelly, that is not one.
It's not a calculator footballer.
Memphis Depay button. Very good.
Oh, really?
That's very good.
Cosine Tanganga. Isn't it Jaffet?
Jaffet, isn't it? Yes.
Tanganga. So cosine, doesn't it?
Simon from Lincoln says, best Casio watch was the remote control one.
All right.
Science class when the TV trolley was rolled in. Stuff of legend. Oh, he's changing the channel.
Divide Ginola, says Barry in Kettering. Tony Cassio Carino.
Oh, that's good.
Really nice.
That's very nice.
Yeah, love this new section of Countdown, says Louis, Brentford fan. 1889 at Max Rushden at Baker Street. Calculator footballers for a bit, something to just trot through the afternoon, isn't it? Why not? I don't think we'd want to say why not. Gary Mabbott Spurs legend will join us in just a second.
Paolo Di Cassio, thank you, Dan.
We'll look ahead to the game against Charlton. We'll speak a bit about Brentford, talk about the window as well, all with one of Spurs' greatest evers in just a second.
I saw Martin doing his interview afterwards and covering the players. It was an appallingly cowardly performance from Celtic.
Cowardly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the goal that really started the rot was an unforgivable error from one of their players knocking it back into the space where the guy can just run in and score a goal, which brought them back from the dead, this team. And then to concede goals directly after half-time, you wonder what managers say to these players at half-time that makes them so unresponsive that they go and concede a goal. But I thought it was a dreadful performance. And all this nonsense about, they might have got lucky in the first leg. I didn't hear that narrative being spun out when they won the first leg 3-0. All of a sudden, people are saying, well, they got lucky in the first leg. They did have a lot of shots on goal, this team. Their expected XG was 3 last week, but they didn't score 3. They scored 0.
Yeah.
And in this instance, you look at the performance and you go, what Martin taking the blame for it. This is not about Martin O'Neill. This was about the players on the field. And they didn't buy this player. And they sold £36 million worth of players and they only bought in £32 million worth of players. And the players that came off the bench didn't look like they had the wherewithal. It should never got to the stage where extra time came to play and the players that came off the bench look all lost. They were just cowardly. They were 4-0 up in a Champions League qualifier with the game done. They hand them back an initiative by giving them 1 goal, and then they absolutely...
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Brentford 3, Spurs 0. Spurs defending, I have to say, up front they haven't been great, at the back they've been appalling, and they're being made to pay for it.
To become team, to fight, to be stronger in the duels is very quickly to do.
Campbell into the area now, puts it in the bottom corner. What a finish! Tyrese Campbell, 3 in 3, and a second at London Stadium for Charlton Athletic.
The Carabao Cup delivering yet again on talkSPORT.
Anthony Elanga, he's clear. Elanga! What a time to pick your moment! Price goes for goal. Oh, that's magnificent. Isaac Price has just scored a beauty to turn it around for West Bromwich Albion.
Big night of Carabao Cup action tonight, and we'll be at Spurs for Tottenham versus Charlton. Bit of pressure on Spurs after that defeat to Brentford. Let's talk to their former captain, Spurs legend Gary Mabbott. Hey, Gary.
Hi, Max. Hi, Charlie.
Yeah, always nice to chat. I was with my dad yesterday, 87. My dad, Dr. Rubenstein, he was talking about he went in 50-51, used to get carried over and sat on the touchline at White Hart Lane, and 60-61, and the conversation always ends up with how good Jimmy Greaves was. Whatever we're talking about, that's how it ends up. But
how good was Gary Mabbott?
And he's a very objective guy, and you're a very positive guy, Gary. I said if anyone can draw some positives out of the first game for Tottenham, it would be you, Gary. It's not an easy question because we weren't great.
No, it was a disappointing game. I felt that, to be honest, I think we got exactly what we saw on the pitch. I think it was Brentford who had 9 of their players that played the last game of last season, starting the game. Organised, very well organised team, know each other very well. And we've had a fantastic summer signings, but really, you play pre-season games, you do things in training. That's nothing like the Premier League. And so I think we got caught out to Brentford. We didn't look like we were together as a team. Brentford looked like a team. We looked like individuals trying to do their best. But football, you can't just buy big names and come in and expect to have success straight away. The thing is that to build a football club, to build a team, you have to have quality individuals. We've done that this summer. We brought in over £310 million with some top quality Premier League players with Premier League experience, Premier League knowledge. But now you've got to basically work on those qualities and those individuals. You've got to turn in training into partnerships.
Yeah.
The central defensive pair, Jan-Paul van Heck alongside Mickey van der Ven probably. Up front, you've got to work players together. On the right-hand side, left-hand side, you've got to build partnerships. Once you build partnerships, then you can build units, defensive unit, midfield unit, attacking unit. Once you get all that together, you've got a team. And at the moment, we're playing with individuals, and that's hopefully it's got to change. It's a tough game against Charlton, but it's a game that we have to win. And if we go into this game with the right attitude and we step up, I think we can get the result.
When you were playing, Gary, what was your technique for welcoming new players into the club and getting them to play in your team?
Well, again, I think it's mostly making them feel welcome.
Yeah.
In fact, we had a big event at the training ground last week with the team, with some of the ex-players coming along to watch them train, and then we had lunch, and all the tables were mixed. So we had a mixture of the first team players and ex-players and the manager. We had one of the owners was here. Vinay Venkatesan, the CEO, was there. Johan Langer was there. So yeah, it was a massive get together. And to be honest, the atmosphere was fantastic. You guys will know if you walk into a dressing room or walk into your office, you'll know there's a vibe or something's not quite right. Everyone seemed to be on top form. They seemed to be enjoying that. And to be honest, I just felt that it was going extremely well. And I just felt it was just such a disappointment in the end that we got the result that we did. But I just feel that the players are settled in. I spoke to Andy Robertson quite a lot. He's feeling very welcome at the club. We've got the players that we've brought in. Everyone seems to have settled in. Now, of course, we just brought in Mamouche today on loan, and Silvino, or however he wants to be called now.
Yeah,
Savio,
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds better. So no, I mean the players are settling in, but it's going to take time, and it's how quick we can get that done. But the players playing together, say they've hardly ever played together before, and that's a big difference. Charlton game tonight, they're a team that they brought in a lot of new players, but they had a fantastic start to the season. I think they're joint top of the table of fantastic victories away at West Ham last week and home to Derby. So it's fantastic results for them. They'll be coming here after going to the Olympic Stadium in front of 60,000 people. They'll be coming here looking forward to this game tonight.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure that we let them come here and we get at them from the very first whistle, put them under pressure and keep them the ones that are asking them questions about their defence, their midfield. We've got to get at them this evening.
I think the interesting thing is when you spend that much money and you spend a lot of money on individual players, it is impossible for expectations not to go through the roof. You know, for the first time, it sort of feels though. Simon Jordan made a good point about net spend and it being not dissimilar because they've sold well as well, Tottenham, with something they haven't previously done. But expectations go up. But realistically, you know, after finishing 17th twice, what should Tottenham fans go? Actually, if we come, I don't know, 8th or 7th this season, that's actually fine. You know, like this, you know, it's more than just because you will be. I can't help it. You know, of thinking, should be top. No, European football should be top 4.
To be honest, I think at the start of every season, obviously over 16 years as a player, you want to win something. You expect to win something. You feel you can win something. And I got that feeling when we were with the team the other day. There's a great atmosphere with the manager, the staff, the players, as I said before. And the players that we've got coming in, if these players can settle in quickly, there's some tremendous talents out there. I mentioned before, players with Premier League experience, Premier League knowledge, the qualities you need in the Premier League. And we've got players coming back from injury. We've still got Madis to come back. We've got Kulukevski, we've got Kudus. So there's a lot of players to come back from injury, but the players we just brought in, add those to what we've got, and youngsters coming through the ranks, we've got a squad that's more than capable of putting in a challenge to win something this year. We're not in European competition, so the domestic cups are very important. Tonight's game is huge for us. And not just because of the Brentford game, but also because we want to win this Carabao Cup.
I think I bring it up every time I speak to you, Gary. I saw you play in the Littlewoods Cup away at Torquay United in 1987. You played that night and you lost 1-0 in the home tie to Derek Dawkins. Your memories of Plainmoor, please, Gary.
Well, I got a lot of memories there because obviously I grew up in the West Country myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of my younger days playing for Bristol Rovers before I got to the age of 20. Obviously I played at many grounds in that area. And so, yes, I've got some great memories, but
You don't remember
not
that
one in
night?
particular.
Don't remember that night? No, you
thank
put
for
that one out.
reminding
You
me.
put that one out of your head, of course.
Well, hang on. Now we're on
Until
this.
you reminded me.
Was it 87 where Tottenham played Cambridge at the Abbey in the Littlewoods Cup, and Keith Brannigan saved a penalty from Glenn Hoddle? Do you remember that one, Gary? Like while we're on just very
Yes, I
personal.
remember that one. Yes,
Yes, there you go.
Guys, you're being very
What a
that's
year.
fantastic.
What a
I'm
year
done, okay.
1987 was.
I know. How convenient for this show. Hey, look, Gary, we're
Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you.
You're a good man, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Gary Mabber there, Tottenham legend, commentary of Tottenham versus Charlton tonight on talkSPORT. We do need
2 legs, Max. It was 2 legs. So we won the first leg. We lost the second leg 3-0.
That's okay. Did they beat us 3-1 or did we lose? We lost 1-0. I can't remember. I remember Hoddle having a penalty saved by Keith Brannigan. I wasn't there. I was listening on the radio. I remember that. But yeah, I mean, I suppose look, if it doesn't go well for Tottenham tonight, what they have to think is it could have been Spurs losing to Charlton in the league at the weekend. And that's West Ham.
Yeah,
Charlton
exactly.
at the weekend,
Yeah,
right?
you could be
okay.
looking forward to Lincoln away, and you're not.
Like they were terrible against Brentford, awful. Like they just couldn't move. Like Brentford were not just physically stronger and fitter. They played much better football, right? And they so much credit has to go to Brentford for how they played and how Keith Andrews has done there. But there will be a different. That front three was what Tell, Richarlison, and Mikey Moore, and that won't be the front three for Tottenham. Once Marmouche and Savino, etc., are up to speed. I think they're interesting signings. I think these are good footballers, but they haven't necessarily been brilliant. Marmouche didn't have a great World Cup either. But you mentioned all the people coming back. If they do come back, Xavi Simmons, as well as the ones that Gary Mabbott suggested, they've got to be better. Although Vuskovic looked really good for Brighton. We're like, should we have done that one?
Yeah, Nathan Jones will have him up for it.
Decimal Rice, square root Van Nistelrooy, square root Hullet, says Waleed. Not a footballer, topical Joe Square Root. So Tony Adam, I like that. Adel Subtract. That's really
very
nice.
good.
Sam in
What a player,
Wolverhampton.
Adel Subtract.
Per St. Smertesacker, says Andy. Adam Up Wharton, says Matt. Henrik Mathatarian. Is that calculatory? I don't know.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
All right. Andy, the Chelsea fan, says, I'm desperate for farmer footballers, so at some point I can say Thieio Walcott. But you can't do that yet.
Can't do that yet.
Cassio Miro is good. That's from Graham. Minus Bramble is good from Jack. So, yes. N'Golo County from Phil, the Wickham fan. But, yeah, keep them coming for a little bit, can't you, if you really want to. Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, I liked it.
Did you like that one?
I liked it.
Well,
Why
sure.
not? Why don't you like
Have you read all these ones? Minus Coleman, Robin Van +, Cassio Miro,
Lee Sharp
is good.
That's just his actual name.
Function Ferguson.
Function. Doesn't quite work.
Chris on his way home, finally. Well done, Chris.
Well done, Chris.
I don't know what you've been doing. We need more context. Where have you been? You've been on an island with Tom Hanks.
It'd be like the Odyssey. Going home after 10 years.
That's all right. Were they listening to talkSPORT on that boat?
What, in the Odyssey?
With Odysseus and all these guys getting eaten by cyclopses. Now, could you swear? Yeah. It's on Fisherman's Blues now. We've been at sea. At sea. It's Paul Ross. We're at sea for hours. For goodness sake. Jim Burt, Barca Jim, bless him. Celtic fan. If you want to riff on someone's pain, Barca Jim joins us in just a second, and we'll talk about Celtic's exit from the Champions League before the Champions League even started.
Mate, we ain't back, are we?
No.
We ain't back.
No,
I'm
you're
a
not.
bit worried, mate. I'm a bit worried now.
You're taking 10th? You consider... Okay, give me this. I'm giving you 10th now. Are you considering it?
Maybe. Yeah, I might put...
Mate, at 7:30 on Saturday, you might be taking both arms off.
Oh, God. You know what I was worried about, right? We made all these signings.
What part are you worried about?
No, I mean, but the front three is just so bad. I can't believe that front three. It was unbelievable. Mikey Moore, Tell and Richarlison. The team looked worse than last season. Like, when you actually looked at it, Spurs' team looked worse than last season. The only player you'd say in there was Tonali, where we paid 100 million for him, right?
Toenail.
But, you know, like, really?
Tonali.
Van Hecke and Senesi at the back, right? Van de Ven is better than Senesi. Van Hecke had a bit of a stinker. Romero, on his day, is better than Van Hecke, all right? Archie Gray is not as good as Porro.
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something, because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
United, but baby, I've decided you're the best team I've ever seen.
PSG 7, Celtic 1.
7 for Barcelona.
Midtjylland 2, Celtic 1 after extra time. They are out of the Champions League.
And Kairat have done it!
Wow, he's very nice.
And Lask, who failed to win any of their last 11 matches in Europe, have completed a remarkable comeback.
Big Al! Can you hear me, Big Al? You almost won one hell of a beat. Haggis, Scotty Brown, Henry Larsson.
Well, pretty difficult to do that there just after the game was over. We should have been outside by half-time. We've scored a goal, which was great. We missed 2 great opportunities. And then we just give them a lifeline just before half-time and then one just after it. And they come roaring back. And obviously we conceded from our viewpoint. Not good goals at all. but that's my team and that's my responsibility.
Gave them a lifeline and then another lifeline and another lifeline, another lifeline. It's more than Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, isn't it? A man who must have really enjoyed that montage.
I think it's his ringtone.
Do you know what? He told me he was nervous before the game. I didn't message him. I just
Nor did I. Went, you'll
leave him alone.
Right. Be absolutely all right. Be fine.
Jim Burke, host of the RGC Celtic podcast. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Hello. Listen, I have to say, hats off to your producer when she phoned there. Hi, Jim. How are you? Everything good? I was like that. No, actually, it's not.
That's Erin. That's Erin's vibe, to be honest.
Yeah, Erin's got that vibe.
That's her vibe. So.
No, she's lovely. I just don't think that she fully understood the brief and that she was speaking to somebody who might not be feeling the love, shall we say, today.
Oh, man. It's
bearing in mind, one of your other jobs is to you run funerals, don't you, Jim? That's one of your...
It could have been perfect if you had one today.
I did have one today.
Oh, but you had the right face for it.
It was like, well, this is upbeat by comparison. Oh, lads, it was...
Oh, what a disaster, mate. Oh man.
I really felt for you. I couldn't even text you a joke. I was like, oh, no.
No, I that was as bad as it get. And again, we went into qualifying or went to the Champions League arena undercooked for no good reason, right? We were told, if we get into the Champions League, we'll buy more players, blah, blah, blah. I get fiscal responsibility. I mean, you see it in England just now. Clubs are most of them are losing money. They're spending money they don't have. I get that. We've got 70 million quid in the bank. There's absolutely no reason that we need, and I think we're even in net spend profit from who we've sold and whatever. There's no reason we shouldn't have been better prepared in terms of at least one more midfielder and at least a left back at the very, very least. At the end of the day, we ended up at extra time. We had 5 guys in the park that shouldn't even be part of the squad, never mind trying to get us into the knockout stages of the Champions League. It was a disaster.
Sorry, it's quite funny though, isn't it? It's quite funny.
Absolutely.
You're 4-0 up, mate. You're 4-0
up. 4-0.
I noticed, Max, I do not need that pointed out to me. Right? I do not need that pointed out to me, but I also knew that when the second goal went in, when I saw Trusty getting bullied off the ball, I thought, oh, this is not going to end well, because the first goal was a shocker. Right? It was an absolute shocker. I don't know if Negan was trying to pad his assist stats and somebody didn't explain to him that it's got to be a goal for his own team before the count as an assist. And then when the second goal went in, I really got the fear at that point, and I don't think I was the only one. I think the 11 guys in the park got it, and I also think the manager and the assistant. Just on that, so we're recording the pod tonight, and one of the regulars, he's away on holiday, so we've got a guy called Davy Farrell who has been an assistant coach at Dundee, St Mirren, Notts County. So he's our tactics guy.
Yeah.
And he's been in 2 jobs where, let's just say, they didn't end well. Okay, he got mutually consented twice.
Yeah.
And he said at one point the camera went to O'Neill and Maloney on the sideline, and he said, I've seen that look before.
Oh, no.
I know, I don't know what to say. I know Alec doesn't know what to say. The 2 of us are looking at each other scared to talk because neither of us know how to fix it.
Yeah. How do you stop that momentum, isn't it? How do you stop that negative momentum?
That's it. But you'd like to think that Mark O'Neill, with his experience, would have an idea. But I mean, one of the things I've seen in all the message boards and stuff today is, he's an analog manager in a digital age. That his time maybe has been, because he looked completely lost last night. In fairness, it wasn't the only one. The players looked lost. The players looked lost as well. It was a shambles, and there is nobody at the club is blameless for last night. The board aren't blameless. the manager isn't blameless, and the players aren't blameless. The only people who are not blameless are the supporters.
Yeah.
There's been a bit of an existential crisis today about the whole of Scottish football, Jim. Do you see it as illustrative of that is coming from the top down?
Charlie, again, I don't even have the spirit. I don't even have it to do my usual banter, get two-footed in you.
I'm not trying to do that. I love Scottish football.
No. But the thing is, look, in the 60s and 70s and even into the 80s, Scottish players were the backbone of the top teams in England. We had, you look at our World Cup squads in 74, 78 and 82, we had a number of world-class players. And even in 86, we had world-class players in our squad. We've now got, John McGinn, Andy Robertson running down his career in the Premiership, Ryan Christie, who's a bit of a, Ben Gannon dope. But we don't have anybody who is first choice for an English Premiership top 16.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody in the Kieran Tierney, his injuries, he's the best 70-minute fullback in the country, but we just don't have the quality. It's as simple as that.
And the thing that I find frustrating, Jim, in this conversation is at some point someone will say more money, there needs to be more investment. Someone gets angry and says more money needs to be invested in grassroots and coaching, and that's fine, but you can only invest money if you have it. Like it's just so fatuous to try and say, look, England put St George's Park there because the FA makes money out of Wembley and the FA Cup and blah blah blah. It has money, and I don't have the accounts in front of me, but it's not like, I don't know, maybe the SFA you wouldn't, but if you've got buckets of money you could invest it, but there isn't buckets of money, so you can't just people shouting just invest money. It's just a waste of a conversation because it's got to be really cleverly thought out. If you want to, you've got to get if you don't have the money to build perfect academies and all this stuff, how are you going to do it? It's sort of just yelling into the air.
Exactly. And Scottish football, the TV deals, both at club level and international level, are poor. Our income from Scotland games and semi-finals and finals won't be. You look at Wembley by comparison, that a Scottish Cup final ticket will be £50. The top £55, maybe the top level price seat. At Wembley for a cup final, it'll be 140, 150 quid.
Yeah.
And every level, there's more money coming in. There's more money coming in. And exactly as you say, Max, the money's not there. And even when it does come in, Celtic, Ben Gannon Doak, the guy I mentioned earlier on, he started at Celtic. But what you then get is you get Liverpool, Southampton, you get English Premiership teams who will keep an eye on the Scottish youth setup, and if anybody's any good, they'll take them away, and then you just put them into the grinder. Whereas if they were the Celtic, Ben Gannon Doak would be a starter for Celtic probably.
Yeah.
Had he stayed, but
you can't blame an individual for going, and then you have this idea that football everywhere, not just in Scotland, but is bound by self-interest. So of course, Scottish clubs want other sides to do well in Europe because of the coefficient, but at the same time, Celtic going out of Europe, it's not like Rangers will go, we need to have a think about how to help Celtic. They've got their own problems. Hearts, Hib aren't going to go, well, how are Hibs getting on? I need to think about them. It's just not how football works anywhere, right?
I don't care how the other Scottish teams do. And there is not a fan. Last night, you can be guaranteed that on every message board, Rangers, Hearts, Hibs, all the way down to East Stirling, were having a right good laugh at us last night, and good on them. That's football. When the big dogs, fall, then there is no shortage of people doing the Nelson ones. Point and laugh, right? You just suck that up. But for example, go back to that Ben Gannon Doak thing. If Celtic said, we'll give you £15,000 a week, the fans would have been uproar. What are you giving a guy who's done nothing 15 grand a week? Liverpool can pay that, and there's not a blip because they're getting 100 and whatever million from Sky just for letting the cameras in, and that's before they sell out their stadium every week before their merch, blah, 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 blah. You know where I'm going with
course.
that. But it is a self-interest. It's the game. It's the game we now, it's the game we're in. But the bottom line for me is that Celtic had 70 million quid in the bank before a ball got kicked or a player got transferred this year, right? And there was absolutely no reason whatsoever that we could not have been properly prepared for last night's 2 games.
Do you want a little bit of feedback, Jim?
Oh, good. Right, go on.
This text says, this guy is the problem with Scottish football. Plenty of quality in our squad to do far more than we have. It's about coaching. I mean, it is a bit hard. You're just trying to do a podcast and a few funerals, Jim, but you're
the problem with Scottish football, Jim.
Fix you, and we fix Scottish football.
Listen, if fixing Scottish football meant that I had to never speak about it again, whatever, I would take that. But we know it's not me. It's not me.
That's what a person who it was would say, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's him. Sack Barca Jim and it'll be fine. Thank you, Jim. Love you, mate. Hard luck, pal.
Bye.
Jim Burke from the RGC.
For turning up.
And do you know what? That's that episode of the RGC podcast is one you might listen to if you're a Rangers fan.
That's a good
Do you know
one.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You might actually do that. Max and Charlie here until 4. Darren Bent, Andy Goldstein have Drive with you from 4. We'll chat to EFL expert Simon Watts. Look ahead to the Carabao Cup games tonight.
Would you both have expected better than what you saw from Tottenham? And I think the answer
I'm
to
not
that
surprised
is,
that they lost.
Oh, yes.
I'm not surprised that they lost, but the
not
manner...
taking anything away from Brentford, though.
No, the manner in which they lost surprised me.
Right.
There didn't seem to be any fight or any change in gear, or the mindset hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. A soft underbelly from Spurs, and they're going to have to eradicate that very quickly.
And both of you think they'll do one hell of a lot better than 17th.
Well,
do
with
you
the players
still
they're
have
now buying,
heightened
yes.
expectations that they might be top half? Then they might be top 6.
No, I'm thinking top half of the table. I'm not saying they're going to be, it would be a surprise. They could do 6th, 7th, but they're going to have to improve massively, Jim, from what we saw at the weekend. And where are these players that have been injured for so long? Look, there's an awful lot of players.
Fit, isn't he?
Van der Ven wasn't available, Jim. You look at the back four, there's hardly anybody playing from last season. So they're facts, but get them fit then. Let's get them out there.
We saw Newcastle yesterday and how they went about it. We saw... They're at home, yeah. But we saw Tottenham and how they went about it. It was chalk and cheese.
But I think this is great for De Zerbi because he'll sort the wheat from the chaff. And for me, I don't have any expectation of Tottenham. They're not my football club. So, I don't particularly admire their board and I don't particularly like their manager. So I don't have an objective view. So I'm quite happy to see them struggle. But that's me being mean-spirited. But you would, for the Tottenham fans, who are plenty of my friends are Tottenham fans, you've gone to Brentford. You've been battered. You could have got beat 7.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been a surprise because they were that dominant. They missed the penalty. They had other chances, Brentford.
Yeah.
A lot of that is because Brentford are a really good side, and playing Brentford away in the first game of the season gives you a false sense of security.
What the hell is going on? This is literally Premier League football drama at its absolute best. Oh my Gabriel!
I can't watch this. He's definitely scoring this.
Messi! No! Guys! Come on! Get in it!
What was that?
You see this crap every single game in the Premier League.
Oh, this is...
No goal.
No.
That was embarrassing.
Big night Carabao Cup action tonight. We've got commentary of Tottenham versus Charlton. Let's look ahead to all the games with EFL expert Simon Watts. Hey, Si.
Max, how's it going?
Yeah, always nice to chat. So, look, Charlton, it's a tough game for Tottenham because Charlton started the season absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, they have, and I think their manager, Nathan Jones, will really relish an opportunity to take his players to the stadium for the first time since Tottenham moved to their new stadium. Like you say, I don't think they were among the fancied teams this year. They stayed up relatively comfortably last season. They've invested a little bit in their squad to try and avoid that second season syndrome like so many teams, even in the Championship, still have. And they made a really good start. It's going to be entertaining on the touchline, and they have absolutely nothing to lose. But, you know, this Tottenham squad, they keep on buying players, they keep on adding quality to it. And I think from Tottenham fans' point of view, you know, we saw this a little bit in the European competitions in the last couple of years, didn't we? They've got some really exciting young players that maybe a little bit of a frustration has been that when the chips have been down, they haven't actually been given as many opportunities as maybe they would have liked, particularly at the back end of last season. So, you know, that strength in depth that Spurs have got to showcase themselves to a manager who's going to probably be looking around his squad now ahead of the next Premier League game after that result at Brentford on Saturday. I think there'll be quite a few motivated players in the Tottenham team as well. Interestingly, 397 matches these two teams have played between them in the League Cup, and they've never met each other before in this competition, which is a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, if Charlton play a strong team, sometimes the EFL clubs don't, right? Because they have other priorities. But if they do, who should Spurs be wary of?
Well, you know, Charlton Athletic under Nathan Jones are a team that, you know, they've evolved a little bit in the last year or so. Miles Lieburn, whose dad, Carl, you might remember, and his mum's involved on the books there, is a pretty decent player. You know, Charlie Kelman came in last year having had a couple of big moves in his career, and it's not really taken off. And then last season had a really good season at Championship level. Lloyd Jones is a big physical presence at the back, who scored against West Ham at the weekend. And alongside him, Reece Burke, who's had a few injury problems, but once upon a time was a pretty highly rated player. I mean, like I say, a lot of this squad have been brought together, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, kind of a few rough diamonds maybe looking to get their careers going again. You know, Nathaniel Chalabar is on their books, and, you know, he was once at Chelsea and Watford. Milenic Ali is a good player to keep an eye on as well, Milenic Ali, because he had a big move from Exeter to Luton Town, coinciding when Luton were dropping down the divisions. I think had he gone there a year earlier, could have been a real success. Didn't work out for him. He's rebuilding his career at Charlton Athletic again now. So I've been really impressed because they haven't got the money that a lot of the teams in the Championship have had this summer. But what they have done is bought players who I think are hungry and, like I say, got a little bit of a point to prove.
Perennially mid-table, Preston North End have had a bad start of the season. Played two, lost two. Paul Heckingbottom's men will want to pick up some form versus Everton.
They got a new pitch as well, and ironically,
maybe that's the
they
problem.
Would have played, they played their first game in the first round of the competition at Goodison Park, which was a little bit of a weird one because obviously Everton's women's team still play there. So they played it at Goodison. Then they drew Everton, and there was a scenario until the pitch got relayed where Everton could have been the away team playing Preston back at Goodison
What a
Park.
shame. What a shame that didn't happen.
It's like, why couldn't they have just delaying that pitch, you know, with all the weather we've had this summer? It would have been amazing. But yeah, they've got the new pitch laid, and so, yeah, had the first home game at the weekend. Haven't got Maluchin Osmayet, so lack a little bit of bite in attack. Bit of an in-joke there, you know, the history to that one. Sold to Genoa. But this, of course, sees David Moyes go back to the club where he ended his playing career, started his managerial career, spent 4 years, won a title with them, got them promoted as well. And a little bit of pressure has been put on in the summer because their chief executive, Angus Kinnear, made it pretty clear that cup competitions should be a priority. And, of course, David Moyes won the Conference League with West Ham. We saw how much it meant to Newcastle supporters when Eddie Howe won them the League Cup a couple of seasons ago, and 32 years without a trophy since Joe Royal at Wembley back in the mid-90s. They want to win something, and they want to win some silverware. So I've been looking around, and you look at some of the managers. Newcastle's new boss, Matthias Jaisler, has basically said he's going to play youngsters tonight. Nicky Hyen at Burnley, Alvaro Arbeloa at Fulham, Xabi Alonso at Chelsea, probably all going to play weakened teams. David Moyes, I think, is under a bit of pressure to deliver. So probably will put quite a strong side out. So I think actually that's probably the tie of the night, really, Preston against Everton, because, Everton are going to really go for it, and that should be a real cracker.
West Brom have started the season well, and they go to St James's Park. You mentioned Newcastle might make a lot of changes. What chance do you give West Brom?
Yeah, West Brom under James Morrison, everything that West Brom supporters have wanted them to be over the last couple of years. They tried to be a little bit clever in the managerial market and gone down the route of young, inexperienced coaches, and it hasn't really worked. And even though James Morrison's been promoted from within without that managerial experience himself, he knows the club inside out, and the fans absolutely love him. Their form absolutely took off when they were in a relegation battle, and he took over back in February last year. And again, there's just a real feel-good factor with some of the players that they brought in this summer going into the new season. So I think West Brom have got a fairly decent chance when you look at the fact that Newcastle are going to put out a lot of young players. They've talked about this not being too many changes at Newcastle, but maybe one of the few things that was held against Eddie Howe was that he didn't really give young players too much of an opportunity. It's why Elliot Anderson ended up moving on. But this is certainly not going to be the case with Matthias Geisler. So I'd imagine that he's going to play a few youngsters, and I think that should open the door for West Brom, really.
And look, Burnley go to Bradford.
Bradford, top of League One.
Yeah, have had a really good start in League One, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I was doing the Bradford City game at Sheffield Wednesday last Thursday night, and it was one of those classic away performances where you've got 30,000 home fans, a couple of thousand Bradford fans behind the goal. But Graham Alexander just knows how to set a team up, and they score from a set piece, real scenes in the away end. And as you say, after losing in the playoff semi-final last season, seems to have built a pretty functional League One side. He had a really distinguished playing career, didn't he, at Burnley, part of the side that were promoted to the Premier League for the very first time in the late noughties. So he's got a bit of a connection there with the club. Bradford have got a bit of history in this competition. Phil Parkinson taking them all the way to the final 13 years ago. But look, again, just been looking at some of the quotes from Graham Alexander. I think he's going to be making changes to his League One team tonight. So it's going to probably diminish their opportunity of getting something from that game. We saw last night, when even with a few changes, when both teams kind of go and alternate and rotate as much as they do, it tends to really favour the Championship or Premier League club. So I would say, even though Bradford have that home advantage, if they're going to make a wholesale load of changes, it's going to be a bit difficult for them.
I don't know how many changes West Ham made last night, or Southampton, but feels like just any win for West Ham.
Yeah.
Just absolutely crucial to get their season going.
Yeah, they made loads. They made a lot of changes, but, what a great result, especially having fallen a goal behind. And Joshua Ajala with a couple of goals as well. Suddenly they've discovered a player that West Ham fans can have a little bit of passion about. Any win for West Ham at the minute after the start of the season they've had is much needed. If Nuno is keen to keep his job, and some have suggested the body language suggests that he not really that bothered. I'm sure he is deep down, and that was, a great result against Southampton last night.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, very, very good indeed.
I would try
but Birmingham getting hammered by Brentford was interesting as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, Watford as well made so many changes and were absolutely pumped at home by Peterborough of League One 5-1. And if this, I don't know about you guys, we're of a similar age and ilk, and I'm getting constant reminders of my age. And I remember when the first couple of managers came about that were of a similar age. Now they're 10 years younger. And another one last night. I don't know if you've seen this. Cardiff City had a player who was 15 years and 98 days old playing in the heart of defence. Noah Anyadike became the youngest ever player in EFL history.
Born, 2011?
He was.
Oh, my God.
God.
2011.
Please.
Oh, well, the show was going to end well then. Oh, man. That's bleak. Not only can he talk and walk, he can play football
properly
professionally.
Play football. Yeah.
Well, maybe we won't make it as footballers, Si. I think that's the only conclusion we can make.
That ship might have sailed, mightn't it? Yeah, he got a muscle cramp in the second half and had to go off. And,
Good. Wow. Yeah, that'll serve you right.
You can't hate on a Cardiff. Brian Barry Murphy basically said, lucky that this ties now and not in a week's time, because they've had to have got permission from school for him to have been involved in the preparations for him to have played.
All right, start him young. Hey, Si, thanks for coming on, pal. Always good to chat.
You, Simon.
No worries.
Well done to that 15-year-old. I'm just jealous in every single way. And I'm jealous of you, Charlie.
Well,
great hair, great moustache, a great knowledge of musical theatre, and you're a great guy. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Tool Station. Adrian's on at 7. Andy Goldstein next. And Darren Benter next.
I've got to stop you there, right? Because I've heard this guff from you and Gabby today, all right? Going on about Spurs over